Hello, everybody. Another week, another two clean sheets, another two more wins for the Arsenal. It just seems to tick along like that, doesn't it? Anyway, welcome back. This is episode 15 now. We are last time Cal was here, by the way, we were at like episode 11 or 12. Now we're at episode 15. So this thing is ticking along nicely, just like the Arsenal are ticking along nicely. And make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. We're on the road at the moment to 100. You know, I got to say that because we're pretty early on in the process. But this week, I'm sorry to tell you guys, I no longer have a special guest because we're back to business. I'm not sorry to tell you. To be honest, I'm not sorry to tell you. Big up respect to Cal, and big up respect to my brother, and big up respect to Seb for stepping in Cal's appearance. But now we're back in business. Cal, how you been, man? You been away in Japan?
Yep. Well, it was a great holiday, much needed holiday. First one in about probably 2 or 3 years. And it was really nice. It was really, really nice. Just taking a load off and not having to think about work. And I didn't have to think much about Arsenal either because we kept winning. We didn't lose a single game or concede a single goal since I've been to Japan. Which is absolutely mad when you to think about it. But yeah, it was great. This was great. Of course, I watched Arsenal play. I just couldn't resist, And yeah, it was good watching. Definitely with it during the trip.
Shout out to Dave, by the way, as we kick things off. Dave's been on a mad one. He sat through an entire 2 hours with me and Positive Dan on a stream. The poor guy was we were talking about like can Arsenal, by the way. Shout out to Positive Dan. We're gonna have him on this show sometime soon in the next few weeks because we've been discussing it. But his topics are the funniest, and it rattles fans all the time. Like, can Arsenal get to 100 points? Will Arsenal break Chelsea's record? Will Arsenal win the quadruple? And it's like and David's just like sitting there like, oh my god. Okay, and of course I jump right into that and I'm feeding off of that topic.
That's like reverse. That's a little bit of rage bait because I know like sometimes Terry, when he has like the questions for six-sided, and he's like sometimes the questions are rage bait. Like even if it's a question. Like the rage bait Arsenal fans, all you need to do is, is Caicedo better than Rice every single time Caicedo has.
By the way, I don't see it.
I'm sick of that conversation, but it's like rage bait. So like, will Arsenal win the quad? Will Arsenal get 100 points? That's funny as hell, bro.
Have you ever noticed when people rage bait people, like with like, is this player better than this player? They take a player from a separate position in the first place. They're never literally like for like. It's always like two guys from different positions and they put them together. Like Declan Rice hasn't played 6 in 2 years for Arsenal. Like
yeah, Declan Rice Caicedo debates don't make any sense. Well, first of all, you wouldn't hear anything about Caicedo for like 2 months, and then he has a good performance, and then people call him world class. Because when Chelsea won their losing streak, no one was mentioning Caicedo, but he wins a game, and we bring up the topic. But that's getting sidetracked. We are
getting sidetracked again. It's like Chelsea fans are here and they're not even here. And
yeah.
I don't know how they're getting in our head from what I have the Premier League table.
It's rage bait. It's rage bait. That's why.
From 7th place, the 7th place team is trying to get into the head of the 1st place team. So, but we'll get into all of that. But yeah, shout out to David again. You know what? As much as he with a passion wants Arsenal to fail, he surely is a fan of the Arsenal, the friend of the Arsenal fan base. Like, so
is he a friend of the fan base?
All of this. I mean, a friend of the fans that I know. Like,
he's friends with fans. I mean, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just football. We're all buddies and stuff like that. No one should take any of this stuff personally.
No, of course not. Which is why I always say, like, on camera, we'll battle it out. In the group chat, we'll battle it out. But I got massive respect for you. It's no hard feelings. It's literally just this chat.
Even though some of his takes are insane, but
we're getting way off topic. Anyway, so dude, might as well just let the people know because you haven't been in the chair for a couple of weeks. Like, how was Japan?
It was really good, you know. It's a very respectful culture, you know. I've been bowing every time I enter and exit, you know, a room for the
Mm,
past 2 weeks, which is something I don't mind. You know, I actually really like it over there because they seem to kind of like have set rules and set ways to do everything, and you can just, as long as you kind of like do it that way, you're pretty much fine. And yeah, vending machines, gotta love them. They're everywhere, and stuff is slightly cheaper as well. So yeah, it was also, we on my trip we started off in Tokyo, and then we did a little bit of a road trip, and then road trip to Kyoto. We rented a car, like a big car, like a 7 seater, and yeah, we got to see the countryside and the mountains and stuff, and it was great. Like some of the places in Japan, it's like so picturesque because the infrastructure there has been there for like, you know, hundreds of years. So, you know, some of the rivers and stuff like that were just like so beautiful to take a look at.
mm.
And yeah, that was definitely my favorite part of the trip. But yeah, pretty good, pretty good. It's probably going to be the last big kind of boys trip with my mates because we're all, you know, 28, 20, 29.
Yeah, I
So
know the feeling.
now it's like people are probably going to start, you know, families and all that stuff, and when that happens, you know, the stuff like this is not really going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it's cool. We missed you, man. We missed you, man. I haven't. I mean, I'm a bit jealous. Like, I haven't left Melbourne. Like, I barely even left my suburb. I've been working from home for 2, 3 weeks. Like,
Jeez. Yeah.
but luckily,
Yeah.
basically live in the city here. So,
Mm.
there's my suburb is probably the most happening suburb in the entire city. So
The
we're
most
good.
what?
But in the meantime, the most happening, like, isn't because I live in South Melbourne, so that's like basically the CBD. It's like,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, Crown Casino is like a 5 minute walk from my apartment. So
Jeez. Jeez, don't tell me what you're paying. That's too
don't
much.
well, if I tell you right now, I'd be telling the people. So I'll keep my mouth sealed. But in the meantime, while you've been away, as you mentioned, Arsenal have been perfect. We haven't conceded a goal. And we're gonna bring that up. We're gonna bring that into context, just a preview of some of the topics that we're going to discuss today. And yeah, Liverpool obviously had a meltdown that began a little bit when you last time we were talking together. I think it was pre-Man United game when they lost to Man United. And
Was it? Did they
yeah,
lose to Man? Oh yeah, they lost to
they
Manchester
lost to
United
Man
when I was.
United at home. They got thrashed by Brentford. They went out of the cup to Crystal Palace. And then yeah, City also lost to Aston Villa the same time that we beat Palace 1-0. So
Yeah.
we all of a sudden, this is kind of where the crazy positivity, and it's not crazy because I'm willing to back up with facts, and I reckon you will too. Why we feel so positive about the position we're in, but yeah, we've moved ourselves far ahead of the pack to the point where this weekend I feel is defining. Like we're only playing Sunderland away, but it's going to be massive considering that City and Liverpool play each other, and someone's getting knocked out or being put in an impossible position this weekend, or we just take the driver's seat from both of them completely. Because it would be, if we were to win, what would be 8 and 9? No, yes, we're at the now at 6 and 7, right? So it would be 8 and 9 heading into the international break if they draw. So it's good. It's good stuff, man. So
Mm.
how have you thought about kind of? I know you're saying you kind of been trying to take a break a little bit from it, but you've
Yeah.
still caught all the games. I see
Yeah.
you
So
in the group chat while the games are going on. Like, what are your assessment about how Arsenal have been? Because I haven't heard from you. I've had other people sitting in your chair for the last couple
yeah.
podcasts. So.
Yeah. This is better than I could have probably ever hoped for the last couple of weeks. You know, I didn't think we'd be this solid. Well, I knew we'd be solid, but I didn't conceive that we were not going to concede a single goal. That's madness, you know. All the we conceded a shot on target, we're mad type of shit that we've been saying as a fan base. So yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. And you know, our defense this season is just absolutely off the wall crazy. It doesn't. It's actually insane what we've put together here. And it's not only the individuals, but as a unit, and that's amazing. And we're also scoring the goals we need to score. Set piece again, ole ole. We keep doing it every single game, and I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about open play XG. What's the XG? You know, if we're good at corners, we're good at corners. We're gonna keep scoring from them, and I don't care. I really don't. And I'm not gonna. I don't care about people trying to separate the open play stuff from the set piece stuff. And I don't care about those narratives. We're winning games and we're scoring goals, and the games that we were drawing, we're winning. We're winning all of them, hard fought or not. So yeah, it's been absolutely perfect, actually perfect, uh, for the time I've been away, and the perfection started even before I left. So it's yeah, as you mentioned, it's full month without conceding, the month of October. So yeah, and we won. We didn't only concede, but we scored the goals and we won the games. Madness.
You know what? We might as well. That now that you're bringing it up, I just feel like I'd be crazy to just avoid it and not hit into our
Yeah,
main topic of the day
yeah,
already right off the bat.
yeah.
And as you said, we didn't concede for the entire month of October. Fun fact, and we discussed this on last week's pod. That is the first time in the history of English football, since the inception of English football, that one team has gone an entire calendar month without conceding a singular goal. That is historical. So we're doing things that are historic, and it's also historical within the club's perspective. And I'm gonna share this now. Now that this Arsenal have now kept 8 clean sheets in a row. Now, the last time Arsenal kept this amount of clean sheets in a row was 1903. So we're talking about 122-year record that could be broken this weekend if we were to keep a clean sheet against Sunderland. Arsenal Football Club has never kept 9 consecutive clean sheets. And just for all the geeks out there, the all-time record for the amount of consecutive clean sheets is 14, held by Manchester United. I believe that was it was Edwin van der Sar was the keeper. I'm gonna fluff this if I tell you what year I think it was, but I know it was Man United that kept 14 consecutive clean sheets. So we're halfway to the all-time record because we need 7 more. So think about how much it is to get 8. To get 7 more is a bit of an ask, but
I'm not gonna demand the team get 14 clean sheets in a row in the league.
I'm just saying, for those of you who are curious, what is the all-time record? That's what it is. So
That's crazy. So wait, so that means this record you're talking about, that includes for that month, it includes all competitions. Like that's never been done. But the 14 clean sheets you're talking about is just like in the Prem, like in the league.
that you know what? You just bring up a really good point. So whoever told me that was the first time in English history, how did Man United keep 14 clean sheets in a row?
Was it in the league or was it in all comps? Because 14 clean
14 is all
sheets,
comps. 8 is also all comps for us.
14 all comps meant that they almost went 2 months without conceding a single goal.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been that like the first week of that first month they conceded, and the last week of that last month they conceded.
Nah,
It,
it's
it,
still 14. It's still 14 games. That must be just for the league. Let me just Google that real quick.
I mean, Edwin van der Sar obviously played in the Premier League, so.
Okay.
But yeah, no, because I was reading, it was going on everywhere, saying that this was the first time ever in English football history that a team had gone an entire calendar month without conceding.
For the most consecutive Premier League only clean sheets. It's Premier League only.
Oh, 14 is
Yeah.
Premier League only.
It's not all comps.
It's not all comps. So
Yeah.
ours is an all comps
Yeah.
thing. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is insane.
Which, by the way, we're that one way far off. 14 consecutive Premier League clean sheets. If you took 8, how many of these do you have? 2 Champions
6
League ones in there because you got Atletico
and a
and
Carabao.
the Cup. So it's 5, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's been since Newcastle, and that was what the 6th game.
Yep.
7, 8, 9, 10, 4. I'm missing one then. Wait, did we have an international break during October? That makes it much easier, by the way. So there was an international break during the month of October. So like that's already like an entire week off that you took.
Oh
But
yeah,
anyway,
that's
we're getting way too far into the specifics. The point is, Arsenal have about to, if we keep a clean sheet this weekend, we would breaking the club record for the most consecutive clean sheets in all comps. Overall, now, by the way, we have now played what 16 games overall in all comps now, I believe. We've
that's
got we've had 10 Premier League games, 4 Champions League games, 16. In those 16 games, we've conceded a combined total of 3 goals.
yeah, that's
By the
insane.
way, Inter this morning conceded, so now we are the only side in the Champions League to have yet to concede a goal in this year's Champions League as well. Just so we're just gonna keep piling on those facts, and the question here is, Cal, because if Chelsea obviously have the all-time record of 15 goals conceded, it's the least amount of goals conceded in a Premier League campaign. We're now on 3 at the quarter mark of the season, just beyond the quarter mark of the season after 10 games. Let's say we break that record, right? And let's say we break, because we've already broken some other record, maybe potentially a club record. We've broken that calendar month record. Let's say we go on. Of course, we need to win. You need to put a trophy next to these great records. Let's say we win the Premier League. Even more if we win the Premier League and Champions League. See, look at what's happening to me. I'm literally getting ahead of myself now, and I become like
What what
this
what 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 hypothetical is
overconfident. Anyway, but a bottom line here: if we're able to put some trophies behind some of these accomplishments on the defensive side of the football, could we potentially be witnessing the greatest defense in the history all time in terms of maybe we'll say in English football to begin with?
well uh, well, if we beat the Chelsea record, we definitely be the best defensive team in the Premier League era, like just hands down. We'd have to go back in time, look at some of those 80s and 70s and stuff records and see how we hold up against them. But let's say I think if we beat that Chelsea record and win the league, we're probably in contention for the best defensive English team of all time. Because that's just 14 goals. Was it 14 goals conceded?
15 goals conceded was Chelsea.
15. Yeah,
So
15
we
goals
need 14 towards the stand alone, right? If we concede 15, obviously, then we're level with them. We're going to share
Yeah, but
those.
just as good. Yeah. So yeah, I think so. In terms of world football, I don't know much about. I don't know enough about all the best records. And to be honest, in order for me to be confident to say the world, I think we'd have to win the Champions League as well. Let's say like it's just hypothetical that people aren't going to like, but if let's say we do the double and we win the Champions League and the Prem with conceding the least in both, we're definitely the best defensive team of all time. Yeah, we just would be.
See, I wasn't expecting you to go there. I thought you would tell me, calm down, calm down.
Well, it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna say this. A
It's
lot of people get
hypothetical.
a lot of people get very upset when you talk about hypotheticals, and they when you talk about a hypothetical, they think that you're saying it's going to happen. No, it's a hypothetical.
Mm.
You know, if Arteta wins, which is a hypothetical, if Arteta wins the Champions League, he should get a statue because he'd be one of our greatest managers
He'd be
of
the
all
first
time.
one ever to do it.
Exactly. So it's a hypothetical. Is it inconceivable? Is it completely out of the question that, Arsenal win the Champions League? No, it's not. We're like joint top with Bayern Munich at the
That's going
table.
to be a big one. We're going to clash of 1 versus 2 to break that
It's
tie at
like
the top.
it's like Bayern Munich, Inter, and Arsenal are the 3 best teams in the champs so far, and the only thing separating us is goal difference, and I'm pretty sure that Arsenal and Bayern have the same goal difference as well.
Yes,
So
it's 11. Yeah, and I
yeah,
think Inter with 1 behind. I think they're on 10 plus 10 goal difference.
so it's not inconceivable that we do something. So yeah, we could be witnessing something special, and like when you're posting the questions, as well on this subject of records, I wanted to pose you a question, and the question is: do you think that the teams going for the record?
I don't think they are. I mean, Balda, have you seen that 70-second clip when Burnley went down when like we're on a counter attack and came off? I think it came off of a set piece from us, and the entire team just ran back so fast to make sure that they weren't going to have a chance at all. Like we're pretty sure we snuffed it out completely. Like Saliba dispossessed them, and that was the end of the game. And you can tell even by the way the other day. I don't know how you felt, but when they almost got a penalty, Slavia Prague, I was like, "Oh fuck, no! We
Yeah, I
can't
was
concede
like
a
that as well.
goal." I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"No."
yeah. I was like that.
You know what we would do though? At that point, we were like, "We've conceded no goals from open play."
Mm. I'm gonna give you my opinion. I think we are going for the record.
Oh, you
I'm
think
gonna tell
so?
you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Right.
I wasn't there to watch the Invincibles play, but I'm an Arsenal fan. I watch all the documentaries and stuff, and I watch different documentaries on it as well, different perspectives, and something that was said at the time, um, at least according to the documentaries, was that Wenger was actually going for the Invincibles. That's something that he wanted. It's something that the team wanted. In fact, they were going for it. I think they went on, I'd like to say a 40 game streak without conceding, but then they did concede in the previous season, and then the record was kind of like they didn't have it anymore, and they kind of let's do this again type of scenario happened, and they went for it. They actually wanted to go invincible, and obviously them trying to go invincible, they actually won the league as well. And I think as a team, when you shoot for the stars and you fall short, you hit land on the moon, right? And if the team is genuinely trying to break that record, we will win the league, because it's not just about getting through the games anymore. Now you're trying to do something historic. You're not just trying to win the heat. You're trying to break the world record. And it's just a different intensity, and it's a different mentality shift. If I don't think if they're going for those records, if they weren't going for those records and they weren't aware of those records, I don't think you would see the intensity in defense, because they have something to protect. They have something that, and it's not, oh, we're 4-0 up, we can take our foot off the gas defensively. No, I don't want to concede. I do not care if we're 6 or 7-0 up. I'm not conceding. I want the clean sheet. I want to go for that record. And I think that's how they feel. At least I feel that's how at least Gabriel and Saliba and those guys feel like that.
You know what? You just brought up something in my head as you were talking about an idea I just thought of. Do you think that potentially that's one of the reasons why we're not blowing teams out with our attack? Like we're not going full throttle attack because there's a little bit of that we gotta defend that record sort of thing. Like we don't want to go too gung ho on the attack. Like okay, we're 2-0 up and cruising. Let's just set up shop now. Like do you feel like that's one of the reasons why?
Well, to be fair, we'd never really get to set out shop because we're always like facing low blocks. Dude, like it's just a hypothetical. I'm not saying we're gonna do it, but I think the team is trying to do something special. And if they don't, like, if the team aren't trying, if the team don't care about the history and they don't care about doing something special, we're probably not going to win anything. To be honest with you.
By the way, David, just to be clarify, right? I asked if we did X, Y, and Z, would we be the best defense ever? Not we are the best defense ever now. Like that's not what the question was. I know my title was a bit clickbaity, but there was obviously a lot of parameters around if we would be the best defense ever. The defense is undeniably one of the best of many, many years across Europe. I really hope it starts to show some frailties.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have to start off with conceding shots on target. Like I mean, that's the thing is like we're not even like rival fans are sitting in there watching, having hate-alongs, hoping that we concede a goal, but we're not even conceding shots on target. Like that's sort of what part of my confidence in this team. It's like we would have to go. We would have to deteriorate so far back now in order for us to fall off the map. For me, the gap is 6-7, and we would have to start. And we're not. We would have to like our mentality in defending would have to drop off tremendously because like right now it's like we're not even talking about goals anymore. Like, do they get a chance in the game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that is how much we're suffocating teams at this point.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? And it's not like the Liverpool of the past where it was, Allison just saving them because of his world class ability. It's, or Van Dijk. It's not just two people. It's like as a unit, as an entire team, we just don't give teams a chance in hell, and that's why we're so confident. The only thing I can see going wrong with us is if the goals dry up and we start drawing more games. But I just don't see us losing that many games, like outright losing, like conceding, and then obviously we're gonna lose. We're not gonna not lose a game for the rest of the season, but like um, if I just lost my train of thought there. If obviously we could lose a game, and if we concede, and our attack is also dry, we'll lose the game. But the chances of that happening is so low, in my opinion. And when you're saying something along the lines of, do you think because we're going for this record, why we aren't kind of opening up the floodgates? Well, I think yes. Also, if we're 2-0 up in a game against like a team on the lower half of the table, they're not coming back. Like
Right.
they're just not. The only teams I think that could actually do something to us if we're 2-0 up is like Liverpool, City.
And we already played them. We're not going to play them
Oh,
until 2026.
yeah. And we're gonna we have like away fixture, or what, a home fixture to Liverpool, away fixture to Man City, right? And
Yeah.
to be honest, it's kind of sucky because Manchester City actually look like they're getting back to form. But yeah, yeah.
I think they're both looking like they're getting back to form, which actually bodes well for us this weekend because they're playing each other.
Yeah,
If
that's
there was
actually true.
one that was, if there was one that was firing and one that was still limping, I would almost be very nervous for the one that wasn't doing well. Like it's like go back a couple weeks before they dropped to Villa, and City were on a bit of a winning streak, and Liverpool obviously lost 6 out of 7. Right? You would have been like, "There's no fucking chance that Liverpool will get anything at the Etihad." Now I feel like the two of them, there's a better, higher likelihood that the two of them can cancel each other out. Now that they're
Uh
both qualifying from
no,
form.
I still see City like
We'll
walking
get to that, by the way, later on.
Yeah.
We'll talk because we have to set up the weekend, and that's obviously just as big a part of the weekend as us. But again, to your point, Cal, though, that's how important that we win this week, though, because yeah, we are going to drop points and lose, but if we can create a buffer enough that's big enough, we're going to have to go on a Liverpool-esque meltdown in order to us to cough up the lead in the Prem.
Yeah. And let's say if something happens and we lose the next game, I'm not throwing my toys out the pram. We're gonna lose some bloody game sometimes. It just happens. And every week it's like, man, if we win this game, then our season's gonna be good. It's like, no, our season's been good. It's been good already, and we've accomplished, like, we've gotten through some banana skins unscathed already. And if we slip on one or two more banana skins, it'll be fine. We just need to make sure that we don't fall into a slump if we drop points. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't think beating Sunderland is a do all or end all. I don't think our season's over.
It'll put us in a strong position just because they're playing each other. So it
Yeah,
would put
yeah,
us in massive control of the
yeah,
title.
yeah, yeah. It depends. If City win, that means nothing's really changed.
It means Liverpool are done. I mean, they lost 4 games all season. They're going to lose 5 in the first 11.
I think Liverpool's done anyway. That's the thing. I need Liverpool to win this game. Like I
Mm.
don't think I think they've dropped too many points and they have too many weaknesses. I think City. I don't need City um, building momentum. I need someone to come in there and stop the hype train. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, no. Well, you're answering one of the questions on the agenda earlier, so I like this. Because I was going to ask, like, obviously we want to draw, but if you were
Mm.
going to pick one team to win, who would you pick to win? Obviously, it seems like you're going with Liverpool.
Yeah, 100% Liverpool because Liverpool's already out for me. Unless we like really drop the ball, if Liverpool ever if Liverpool's ever ahead of us on the table for the rest of the season,
I'd be
like
shocked.
I might
Maybe,
destroy my whole
maybe
ring.
because we're in multiple cups and we're like two games in hand or something. You know what I mean? Like, let's say we make the Carabao Cup final and we're playing that weekend, and yeah,
Well, yeah, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but like if the same games played and they're ahead of us, this has been like that's nightmare
Yeah.
fuel, you know.
Then we're starting to get back into those does Mikel Arteta, conversations, which right now I just kind of don't want to have those talks right now. But if we
Uh,
were to blow it from here, we would have to have those talks because this would
I
be
don't think I don't think it'd be a talk.
I
I
think
think
it'd
it'd
be
be
obvious.
pretty. I think it'd be pretty clear. I think Seb's like the only guy I could think of that would watch us battle this season and go, you know what, give him another chance. Like, imagine, imagine like
My
losing the
brother,
league
my
to this
brother would.
point.
My brother, I said this
Like,
on last week when my
ima-
brother was on here. I was like, if we were to lose this league, would you have Arteta out? He's like, no, 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 no way. Even my brother
nah,
was
nah, man. I'm sorry. Unless like, unless someone put pipe bombs in the Emirates locker rooms. There's no reason why we should. There's no excuse for this. You know what I'm saying? And nah,
I mean,
that's too much
considering we
already.
have it already, like,
Yeah,
let's get into this because at the moment the
yeah,
question would
yeah.
be: are we in an injury crisis? I
Where
mean, all the
it's
players that are. This is ridiculous. The players that are not going to be available for Sunderland, like we are limping into the international break at this moment. So we got. I'm to try to hit from the top of my head who's out. So Victor Gyökeres is going to be confirmed out for this weekend. Martinelli is going to be out for this weekend. We've already been without Madueke, that's 3. We've already been without Odegaard, that's 4. Um,
Kai.
who else? Kai Havertz, 6. Gabriel Jesus, 7.
No, that's 6. That's 6 so far.
Oh, that's 6. That's 6. Am I missing
Mhm.
anybody?
No, I think that's it. That's I don't let's I'm not gonna count Gabriel Jesus because he doesn't
Okay.
play for Arsenal. So let's go let's go Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard, Madueke, Victor Gyökeres, um, Martinelli. That's 5 players.
5. And then as well, we've had like injury scares for Gabriel and Saliba in the last couple of weeks as
Yeah,
well, where they're out
yeah.
and in and out and in. And like Calafiori had an injury scare at the end of the West Ham game as well. If you remember, what West Ham? Oh my God, that's ages ago. You were on the pod after West Ham. What was it? Palace.
Mm.
And we had to make all these subs and change the entire back four because like basically I think Gabriel, Calafiori, and someone else all came off the pitch at the same time. I think it was Declan Rice.
Okay.
Like, and we had to make all these massive and Rice has had an injury scare. Like we had questions on
It's
Rice's fitness last week.
it's
Zubi
not
even had an injury. Like Arteta was talking about Zubimendi's injury, like having an injury niggle or something at the end of the last game against Burnley. So like we could have everybody back at the start of the next break. Which part of the good part about this is that none of these guys are going on internationals, so it's sort of like
yeah,
they can
yeah.
sit there and focus on getting better. But we like that's why I think the Sunderland game is so big because it puts pressure on the two of them in their big clash against each other, and B, like we've kind of gotten through this mini injury crisis. We're not going to say even mini, completely perfect.
I wouldn't call it an injury crisis.
Yeah,
just yet.
crisis is an interesting word. It's very
Um, I would just say injury problems. And it is annoying. Like every time someone comes back, it seems like someone's coming out, But the thing is, Odegaard and Madueke are penciled in to be back. And Havertz, right? Isn't Havertz as
yeah.
well?
So basically at the Tottenham game back, we're expecting Havertz, Odegaard, Madueke, Martinelli, Gyökeres, all of them, all five.
Well,
They're literally they're all expected to come back.
This Gyökeres expected to come back after the
Yeah,
international break.
it literally spoke. It said Tottenham verbatim. That's what Arteta said.
Okay,
So
so
he
for
said
Gyökeres,
we're
so it's
expecting
not
him
a
back playing Spurs after the break. Yeah,
so it's not a big injury then.
it's not a big one. He'll be back. He'll be ready to go for
Okay,
Tottenham.
then it's definitely not a crisis, Anton. It's definitely not a crisis. Like we're
Yeah.
fine.
No, but
We're fine.
the point is, like we've already had the variables that people would think would sink our season. I want to knock on wood here, but I think that, and I said this last week, the most vital player, key cog to Arsenal, if we were to lose him for a long period of time, is Declan Rice, because not only has he been the engine in the midfield, and he's been the man of the match over the last couple of matches as well. But that pass he played for Marino, and literally I could have knocked that in with the back of my head. Like that was so
Yeah.
perfect. But it's
Declan
that
Rice.
set piece. It's that set piece element. That hard set piece FC. Like, why are we so good at set pieces? Because we have literally the best set piece taker there is in the world. He puts everything on a sixpence for everyone. And so, if all of a sudden you took that kind of out, it makes things a little bit harder for us to find that set piece solution if things aren't
Okay.
clicking. So,
Yeah, I think the two players in the team that we don't have any sort of substitute and answer for if they got injured are Declan Rice and Zubimendi. I think if we
yeah.
lose any one of those, I think we're kind of
So our
like,
midfield is vital to
yeah,
consistently.
like Declan Rice. He's too much of an engine. He's too good defensively. His recovery pace is mad in terms of what he does, in terms of winning the ball back that no one talks about. Everyone mentions Caicedo in terms of winning the ball back, but Declan Rice, when he has to win that ball back, was one of the main reasons why our defense is so good as well. And his ability to kind of keep the ball going forward as well, crash into the box, his delivery. Yeah, he's complete as a midfielder. And also Zubamendi, the way he just keeps it ticking is something that when we were watching that, I was watching that game against was it Brighton, our last game?
Slavia Prague.
No, Slavia Prague, sorry. It's
Yeah.
blurring.
Brighton was a weekend. We had so many games. Brighton was like
Yeah.
what 2-3 games now ago. Yeah.
Slavia Prague, and it was I'm not gonna swear, it was Norgard in
Get
the
into it because you were talking about this in our
yeah,
group.
it's the conversations are kind of flowing into each other.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
No, but like Norgard, oh, please, Norgard as a 6 for us doesn't work, bro.
Go, my brother. Go for it.
I'm watching the game, and it's like, and I've been Arteta-fied, Like even when I'm playing FIFA, I'm Arteta-fied. It's like I need control. I'm a control freak.
Like I'm watching the game. Like I see it, Cal. Yes.
I'm looking at the game. I'm looking at the game, and it's like been 12, 15 minutes in. I'm like, why are we not in control of this game? Why are we still like dueling and losing the duels? Why is it ball getting pinged around the midfield? Where is the control that I'm used to? Where is the okay, bang, 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 bang. Even if it's between the center backs for a little bit, bang to Zubamendi, then he sprays it left, sprays it right, or bang to Declan Rice, back to Zubamendi. You know how we play. None of that. Completely gone. None of the flow. And it's like it was like if I'm watching a different team play. And I didn't like it. Actually didn't enjoy that game at all.
You know how how high the standards have gotten, by the way. That even that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's like we conceded one shot on target.
But
I didn't feel like we were in control of the game like we usually are. that probably looked like a normal game of football to other people, but for an Arsenal fan who like watches all our games, I can't remember not being as in control in that game for a while, for a while, and I don't think we have an answer in the team for Zubamendi, and it's why we are, first of all, doing so much better this season than last season as well. It's why Zubamendi is better than Partey. And because you take a look at what happened last season when we lost Odegaard, we just couldn't do anything in that midfield. And the reason why, even last season when we were playing Partey, Rice, Odegaard, it wasn't looking as good as Partey, as Rice, Odegaard, Zubamendi, and it's because Zubamendi just solves a lot of our problems in that midfield, and he plays the way Arteta likes. Arteta likes control, and Zubamendi controls. So, and Norgard, he's a decent player, but he just isn't the right profile. He's just not that guy. He's not that guy. And I don't think he doesn't have the pace and he doesn't have the youth and the pace of Declan Rice, so he can't be really played in that left 8 position either. So he's just like a filler. He's just kind of there, which makes sense for the price, but I'm scared if anything happens to Zubimendi, and I'm scared if anything happens to Rice as well. But at least if Rice is down, I could maybe we could put an MLS there, because MLS is an engine himself, and he is good defensively, and we know what he can do traveling with that football. Obviously, he's not Declan Rice, and he's not gonna have the set pieces, and he's not gonna be as consistent. But at least there's something I could work with there, because of how talented MLS is. Like, Norgard isn't that talented. He's just one of the guys. Like, he's just a guy.
But I think we kind of knew that he was just a guy, and we brought him in just kind of to do a job. When I was on Gunner's therapy on Monday, I literally was saying, I see Norgard as a closer, which is like a guy you bring in to try to close the game out.
100%. But it's just that we look like shit when he starts every single time.
Yeah. And it's funny you brought up MLS, because that is what I suggested as well when I was asked what would you start with the lineup, and I had because you had to play Marino up front, which is, Marino obviously, if a striker is healthy, is the obvious partner to Rice in the midfield if Zubi's out. So I think the scenario of the lineup that you saw the other day isn't one that we're going to see often.
It's not.
Not.
God damn, I hope not.
But here's the thing, because I think Arteta agrees with you at some point, because one thing that has been pointed out by the tacticos within the Arsenal fan base is that William Saliba at some point in the game, I don't know exactly at what point, I don't know why I didn't really notice it as much. There are so many fans that stuck out to them, like, wow, Saliba started playing what they call in Italy the libero role, which I believe it means free role. So Pablo Maldini was the first to ever kind of really do this. He was like the pioneer in terms of being the sort of center back, which is kind of what Calafiori does in Italy. It's how Italians like to defend. You always have a center back who's able to kind of run into midfield and have more of a free role. So, and another person who's done it, of course, is Pep Guardiola. Did it with John Stones for many years. And all of a sudden, what happened in this game, and now I've rewatched it since looting this, and I've seen the kind of the shape. What would happen is that Saliba would drop into midfield, kind of basically into Norgard's position, and we would then create a back three, which, because luckily the versatility of Nkapie and Timber allows you to drop into a back three. So you had Gabriel manning the middle, you had Nkapie and Timber, and Saliba was able to kind of go into the midfield and start dictating play from the midfield. It got to the point where we actually ended up sitting almost to the edge of the penalty area when we were really trying to lock them in, and the ball kept coming back out to Saliba, and he was dictating play and pinpointing passes. And it was to the point where I felt like this happened. And this is the point maybe that like James and others who've been talking about this didn't get to, which I feel like you did very well, which is, why did he feel like he needed to put Saliba in that role? Because I just think he doesn't trust Norgard.
Not
That's
only
why
that,
I think.
Actually, now that you explained it the way you did, thank you for that. My mind
Yeah.
was ticking while you were explaining it as well. Is this a response to the Crystal Palace game, or something he knew it was a weakness? Because I'm going to tell you this: that Crystal Palace game isn't as low block as everyone thought it was.
Mm.
First, so when I was looking at Crystal Palace, why was it so hard to play? Crystal Palace is probably one of the hardest games of the season that we've played so far, and it was the one of the first games in the season where I felt like tactically there was a plan that was actually quite effective against us. It wasn't just us being bad or something like that. It was like a plan was executed and it was almost went perfectly for them. It's just because of our quality we won that game. And I'm going to tell you what the plan was. The plan was, first of all, it wasn't a low block, it was more of a mid block.
Mm.
And what they would
Yeah,
do
we
is
can't
that they,
really
they,
get
they
past
would
the first man in many of the respects
that
on
but
our
that
side.
was that was on purpose. We build
Yeah.
up from the back. And what they did is every time we try to get in the ball to Zubamendi or Rice, they would squeeze, they would press, they would
Or
put
Saka.
themselves. Yeah,
Saka,
they
Mitchell kept dispossessing Saka at
y-
least 4 or 5 times in the first half.
yeah, but sometimes we wouldn't even be able to get the ball to him because of the squeeze. We just
Yeah.
got squeezed in it, like from the build up, which is so like so we'd have Gabriel and Saliba, and they literally have no outlet. They have no one to pass it to because they're not overcommitting in that mid block, and they would squeeze when you try to do anything special. So it was actually really effective. Now, what you're saying is actually really that means we're triple dipping in the midfield. Double dipping is like in so what we're doing is essentially if we put um Nkapie and Timber and
Well, like Calafiori can do that,
Gabriel.
and Calafiori does as well
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
lineup as well. So
yeah. And then we have Saliba going into that midfield as well. That means we just have even more options. And it would mean, and because teams aren't pressing against us, it would allow us to just build up faster as well. And it will create more passing outlets so we can actually break down some of these mid blocks because I think we play the worst against mid blocks, to be honest.
mm,
Um, if a team is just like super like low, we would at least keep battering them until we eventually break them down. That mid block kind of stops us from building up to begin with, so we could never really get into rhythm. We just need to find. I don't know if that's a solution, but we need to find a solution where we where we could obliterate these mid blocks, and because the mid block stops us from getting into our flow state, you know.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, look, I think that's a really good point. Like, to be honest, I'm just thinking about it as well more, just in terms of the defenders and the like the what we can do. We can even, I think, play a lineup where you put in Incapie or Calafiori, because Calafiori naturally does it for Italy, the libero, right? Where you could
Mm.
start, where you can bench Gabriel and do it the opposite in the reverse, so that Saliba sits in the center of the defense, and you put Calafiori in midfield. Because another thing that you've pointed out as well is that Calafiori naturally likes to drift into midfield.
Yeah, he
So
does that anyway. Yeah.
so you could play a back four with like you can put Calafiori as the libero, and then put, I don't know, maybe in that scenario you have Incapie, Saliba, and Timber, or something like that, or Ben White. You can also play right back. I think this is sort of maybe we're starting to see a lot of Arteta opening up the possibilities of these sort of profiles of players that he brought in. We were discussing. He likes, especially his defenders. They all can play. Just with the exception of, I think, Gabriel, who really I've never ever seen play left back in my life.
Mm.
Or I think I've seen Sleeper play like right back ish on one occasion, but never, not really. But in terms of our fullbacks, because they're center backs and fullbacks, with the exception of Miles, right? So you got Calafiori, Hicapie, Timber, and Ben White all can play left, fullback, center back. So it
Yeah.
allows you the flexibility to kind of do all these extra little technical nuances within the game, and constantly change the shape of your defense. So like he can sit there in the midfield, and then all of a sudden we can drop back into a back four later on if we want. It's not like we've committed him to the midfield completely. So like,
Mm.
I think, yeah, I thought it was a very interesting innovation, and that's kind of maybe another part of when people don't understand how Arsenal have so much levels to go up. Like
Mm.
we're still learning how to utilize this entire squad
Yeah,
in
and
different ways.
it's a really big shame because I thought, that last game Eucharist was what a half.
Ah,
What a
by the
half
way, I
of
want to
football
bring
it
that up
was.
too, because yeah, we
Because
should go back to that the Burnley game. Yeah,
yeah, it was like yeah, yeah, that was
actually,
that was
I want to hear your take. Keep elaborating, like, because I didn't really get to talk about this because obviously this is the pod for that,
mm,
and obviously Victor has been under massive scrutiny. Even Spurs are shamelessly comparing Van de Ven to him on Twitter yesterday, which I was like, okay, cool, Mo. Cool story, bro. There are like 8 or 10 other high profile strikers who also have less goals than Mickey Van de Ven this season. But anyway, um,
Mickey Van de Ven's their best player by far. Like it's not even close.
oh
He
yeah,
should
yeah, yeah.
he should be like I would take him as one of our center backs at Arsenal.
Where does he start in our team if you put him
I don't think he starts, but God damn it, he'd be a weapon as an option. Like
from set
he be
pieces.
he
Right?
be he be our third best center back,
Mm.
which is saying a lot.
That tells you how good this defense is. I was saying this last week. Um, both Incapie, actually all of Incapie, Calafiori, and Ben White and Mascara all would start. Well, I didn't mention Mascara in the versatile fullbacks as well. That means center backs. All would start for Chelsea.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I don't think every single one of our defenders start for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like
That tells you, but it's not, I'm not
starters
saying
and
that
backups.
to diss Chelsea. I'm just telling you that as an illustration of how good this defense and how deep it is and why we're able to rotate the back four and still maintain the same results. And that's
Yeah,
the other thing that's, I think, scary about this run, which is it's like plug and play. It doesn't matter who's in the starting 11. The results keep staying the same. Now, of course, I think there is some obvious. I think maybe the first time you mentioned Norgard, the first time there was an obvious drop off in any sort of position this season, which you can tell. Like even Marino, I'll give him credit. And I was saying the other day, like, oh man, we're in trouble if Gyökeres is out, and Marino goes and bags 2 goals. Even Marino, like, again, goes in, steps in, and scores a brace. But I want to head back to Victor because I have to give him his flowers. Right? I don't want to
yeah, yeah,
go too far off of that. Victor
yeah,
Gyökeres in 45 minutes for Arsenal against Burnley was easily his best 45 minutes for Arsenal. And it wasn't
yeah,
just the fact that he scored a goal. Like, even in my post-match on the terrace, I said, forget about the fact he scored a goal from a set piece, because I know that's what everyone's on their edge to say is a rebuttal. And like, take that out completely, right? Because I wanted to illustrate for you what Victor Gyökeres does for Arsenal outside what I've been seeing build up over the last few weeks, months, as he got more comfortable in this team, outside of just scoring goals, right? Because you can say, oh, he's scoring tap-ins, whatever. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's an easy out. But the
I,
guy
I, I want him to
was
score tappers.
right. Of course, we wanted to score tap-ins. No, but again, when everybody else judging, he scores goals, and then we're taking it to the next level. Like, it wasn't a pretty goal; it was a tap-in. Or as Ash keeps saying, oh, he scored it with his wiener. Like, dude,
Gotta
who
love that.
cares? I know, right? Although the two of us is so funny. That's why, by the way, today when he's like, oh, that the reason why I tried to undermine the what's his name, the header from today, was because like every time we do anything, he has something to say that undermines it. So I'm like, okay, Ash, I'll play that game with you today. And then the minute that Dan Burns scored the header, everyone's like, that's the best header I've ever seen. I just referred them to Robin van Persie in the 2014 World Cup. I'm like, yeah, you guys got to learn your history, because that was the best header anyone's ever seen. But I thought that was more impressive. That one came from outside of the penalty area altogether. That, you remember that goal? Like, that literally floated. We went out like a bird, and like, oh,
I didn't
he
see
was
the
playing for United at the time. But
I didn't see the Newcastle goal. I didn't
so
watch
basically
that.
he hits a header, basically also kind of from deep in the penalty area, like almost at the edge. and it's
Mm,
kind of like on an angle, and it curves in to the top corner, which was a beautiful goal. Great goal. But it's just
mm.
because every time that we do anything, he's always like, but he scored with his dick. I'm like, Gyökeres, but he scored with his dick. And I'm like, it's like all this stuff. So
Yeah,
I was just like, you know what,
I don't
man?
even I don't even mind because Newcastle's kind of still in the mud. So
It's got nothing to do with
it,
Newcastle to me. He
it
likes
so
Newcastle, and that's a tool for him.
that's why I kind of I always just do little jabs in the chat now and again where I'm like, say, so are you guys now disappointed with your season or are you still good? After
Yeah.
they lost another one. But anyway, yeah,
Anyway,
you're talking about Gyökeres'
yeah,
performance and you're
Gyökeres.
saying that it was
Like first of all, the way he's bringing players into play, so the runs that he's making, you see him making a big run off the left, you see him making big runs off the right, you see him hold the ball up so well and bring teammates into play, and the passing. So, for instance, Saka, was put through one-on-one with speaking of Newcastle, with Dubravka, their former keeper, yeah. I mean, he put it on a play for him. Saka needed to score that. That should have been an assist for Gyökeres. But
yeah,
what was a pre-assist for Gyökeres, and by the way, it annoyed me because like when they would go back on like the goals of the day thing, they literally cut out the part of who delivered the pass to Trossard. They just see the pass come in. But
mm,
Gyökeres plays that pass crossfield. It whips across, beautiful like arc on that ball. Falls
yeah.
right to Trossard's feet. Sets him up
Mm.
perfectly to be able to cross for Rice for the
I think
second.
the thing is, Eucharist had double-digit assists in both seasons at Sporting. I'm pretty sure. Definitely for the second one, I think he had like 14 assists or something. Like, so it wasn't like this is his game. Like he's not just a poacher. He's supposed to have a better touch. He's supposed to have better distribution, which is something that he's actually starting to show now. Maybe because he's getting back into form and he's a bit more comfortable with the team. But that pass to Saka was Odegaard-esque. It was like, okay, the ball. I'm going to pass you the ball, and it's going to stop right in front of your feet mid stride, and Saka should have done better with it. And
Sometimes I
that
feel like Saka just knocks the ball on one too many times. We could just chip the keeper. The keeper's come out. Just chip it over the top. He's like trying to take one extra touch to the side so he can bang it in, and then it's like chance gone.
he has been trying to score more this season. I've noticed. But yeah. But to be honest, he can do that at times. I mean, against Madrid, he did it last year.
Yeah,
So,
he did.
well, that was actually technically earlier this year.
Mm.
But he dinked Courtois, so it's in his locker. He just needs to kind of find that back. Um, and yeah, that pass to Trossard was amazing, and it wasn't just the passes. I think it's just his overall play, his hold up play was really good as well. He was a handful. Yeah, it was one of his best performances, and when he got subbed off, I was like, dude, why did you take him off? He was kind of like, this is it, but it was because he was injured. But yeah, if this is the Gyökeres we're going to see moving forward, like the league's in trouble if they weren't
So
already.
So this is another point I wanted to highlight, and I watch a lot of content creators, match reviews and stuff like that. So I was watching Rory Talks Football. Big up to Rory. Wait, we're going to remove this from the screen. And so he pointed out something that was really interesting to me. I think it explains a lot, by the way, in terms of our number 10's productions this year. So a lot of people were asking, like, hey, what's going on with Ethan? Why didn't Ethan make an impact in the game? Why can't I tell if Ethan's making an impact in the game? And then Eze came on and also didn't make an impact in this game. And then that takes me to a further conversation, even further, which is like Odegaard, when playing next to Marino, also was in his worst form of his career. And Rory said something here, and it hit like a light bulb in my head. And I'm expecting it to hit like a light bulb in your head because you're a smart man. When he describes this, like in terms of the difference between having Marino in the striker than having Gyökeres in the striker in terms of how it impacts the performances of our number 10s. So listen to this.
Kind of right-sided attacking situation where one area I thought really struggled to get into the game. In fairness, Eze then came on and also really struggled to get into the game. And I think, again, a big part of that is Zubamendi and is Victor Gyökeres. Without having a striker that's stretching that back line, you don't end up with much space in this sort of pocket. And that was where I thought Nwaneri was struggling to get involved too much. And when, the striker isn't doing much and the right-sided attacking midfielder isn't doing too much, you don't end up getting much of Saka on the ball. So that whole situation, it becomes better when we've got Ødegaard back. It becomes better when we've got Gyökeres or Kai Havertz up top. But it was what it was. And then in terms of the defense, right.
Anyway, that was the point. It
Yeah.
clicked to me like a seatbelt into a car when he said that. I've been trying to find words to describe what Gyökeres has been bringing to this team, and I've been fumbling it around and waffling around for weeks and weeks on all the platforms when people are asking me what or trying to criticize him for him not scoring, and I'm trying to explain what he's actually doing. And what Roy just described there exactly tells you what he does. What do you think now after having heard that? Do you agree? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that it's twofold. It's that, Gyökeres isn't stretching the floor and Norgard isn't giving Nwaneri the ball, and he's also not providing anything for him. So if Nwaneri has to do anything with the ball, he actually has to drop a defender and boost onto the scene because there's nothing to do there. And it also means that Saka doesn't get the ball because Saka's had actually a lot less. He had a lot less of the ball last game as well. So I agree with it 100%. I think we need them.
Yeah, I mean, but again, that part for me though, what he was describing about Marino, where he doesn't allow to have the space, because he doesn't drive at defenders.
No, he doesn't.
It doesn't open up the space. That
you can basically ignore it.
That for me almost perfectly it gives a great explanation for why Odegaard's form dropped off at the back end of the year, because Odegaard was having the same issues that Nwaneri was having in this game, literally the entirety of the second half of last year, since when Havertz went out. And I feel like it's just because Odegaard is the type of player who wants to play into space, and Marino doesn't do it. He doesn't run into space. Marino is more like a brick wall that you play passes off of, and his goals are off of the first touch. It's never like he's running in one-on-one with and he scores, or it's always like
you have to drop. Yeah. He basically has to be in the spot, and you need to give him the ball, and then he'll shoot. You can't play off him to score a goal. You can play off him to assist a goal, to be honest with you, because that goal against I think it was against Brighton in the Carabao, that flick on that he did for MLS and MLS to Nwaneri,
that was beautiful.
He's capable of doing that. He also was the one who provided the assist for against Madrid. He's the one that fed the ball to Saka, and Saka dinked Courtois.
But he's not much of a ball carrier, is just what I've noticed.
No, he's not a ball carrier.
Yeah,
he's like a cone you bounce shit off. So he's there, you pass it to him, he'll flick it on or pass it to someone else, or he will score the goal. He will not carry the ball ever. When was the last time you saw Marino run with the ball?
Never.
What does Marino even look like?
There is no last time. I don't remember.
I don't know what he looks like running with the ball. He's kind of you don't see him for the entire game.
I think maybe in the Liverpool game in the first half, there were times where he tried because he was playing in the 10.
And that was horrendous.
Yeah, it didn't look good on the eye. No. He doesn't have great close control either. So
he's such a weird player, bro.
He is a bit of a. I mean, I think a lot of people try to compare his role in the team to kind of like Kai Havertz, but Kai Havertz can carry the ball. Kai Havertz is good with the ball at his feet.
Did you remember Kai Havertz's last goal that he scored in preseason?
Yeah. So
he's faster than Gyökeres.
Oh wait, again. Now we're talking. I know people were talking about, hey, when Kai Havertz comes back, Gyökeres is going to drop. Now that Gyökeres, we're starting to understand what he brings to the table. You saw that first half, Burnley. You're struggling over there with that bag in your house.
Yeah, it's coming around there, man. I'm trying to get it.
But yeah, you saw that first half, Burnley, and now you're like, wait, after break, we could have Kai Havertz back as well. So now we're adding another layer onto this. You're
What's
adding
Madueke?
Madueke layer onto this, Odegaard layer onto this. Like Martinelli, I mean, we kind of see what Martinelli brings to the table, like whatever. But it's just more like I think the Kai Havertz one for me more than anything, because he hasn't really played this season. The type of option now that brings to the team. That's why I keep saying, like, that's why I'm so confident for the league. We're not only are we solid, going forward wise, we haven't pulled out barely anything out of the bag, and we're 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League after 10 games.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Madueke. Madueke, I'm probably most excited for Odegaard and Madueke to come back.
By the way, just as a side note, because we'll move on to the kind of the next topics here. But you're saying eventually we're going to lose. Can it be like, because to be honest, you can't lose to Tottenham.
Don't do
There's
this.
not points to Tottenham. I want to beat Bayern because both of us are at the top of the table, and I just want to be the one to beat them to go clear top, right? But if it was that one, I think maybe we can stomach it. But definitely cannot be against those boys, Chelsea, as well either, because we've been talking way too much shit to them to allow that to be the one where it's
we're not gonna lose to Chelsea.
It'll be someone like Brentford or something. Like it's gonna be.
Nah, I don't think so.
But see, that's where I find it where to struggle. So
I think teams like Crystal Palace, Sunderland, Bournemouth. You said Bournemouth?
Bournemouth is that would be a tough.
No, those teams. You said not Brentford. Not Brentford. Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Sunderland. Those are the teams that we're probably most likely to.
Well, I don't know why. I feel a bit nervous about this week's game. I don't know why. Like
because Sunderland's a good team.
Nervous about Sunderland about Slavia Prague as well. Weirdly, as well.
I didn't. Sunderland makes sense because they're a good team, and I feel like Xhaka is a fucking dickhead, and he has a chip on his shoulder, so I can see him scoring one from outside the box like an absolute screamer.
I mean, if you think about it, though, if this was a scenario were to happen, let's say we draw against Sunderland, right, and then there's a draw in that big game, we're just at the end of the day, we're just back where we are right now. So it wouldn't be.
Even if we lose, for me personally, I think we have enough credit in the bank so far. Like if it's a shit performance, then it's going to be annoying. But as I said, if it's a like a performance where we were just like peppering them, we did our best and we just happened to drop some points, then it is what it is. It's football.
I don't know what it is for me, but with all the injuries, I'm expecting a shit performance. I think we're going to get it over the line. I think we're going to get over the line somehow. But just I don't know why.
This game's going to be scrappy. It's not going to be.
I feel like it's going to be scrappy
because they're going to be going for it, and
look, they're top. Where are they on the table? I'll actually bring the table now because I wanted to use this as a talking point.
And they like third.
Wait, why does this always automatically do this? So at the moment, right, Sunderland are fourth, but they're the same amount of points as Liverpool this season.
Yeah.
But I wanted to take this to illustrate this point because I think I want to get into talking about the title race and moving forward and some of the narratives that are being spoken. And of course, all the hopes of our rival fans now, again, just we're going to unpack this because I also want to unpack kind of like just what frustrates rival fans about us. I got like a ticking in my ear. I don't know why it goes tick, 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 tick. 1 second.
It's definitely on your end.
Okay, I don't know what else. I'll have to go away at some point. I have to stomach that. But look at this is the table last year versus the table this year. So if you notice, by the way, this is what the stuff that annoys me and why I feel like I have the right to go out and puff my chest out about Arsenal's position in the league. So about this time last year, right, Liverpool had the same amount of points as us right now, but the gap was only 2 points. Now, of course, City are going to have a historic collapse going on later on in the season. We have an historic. We're already collapsing at this point. Look at that. We literally have what Liverpool had in terms of the start to the season, right? Mm-hmm. But 25 points, 6 points gap. Liverpool went on to win the Premier League, and there was a 2 point gap. And by the way, the narrative at that point was like Liverpool looking comfortable, like Liverpool are going to go on to the league. They're running like I remember people saying after 10 games, "Oh, Liverpool, they're going to win it. It's going to be their year already." Even though it was
To be
Arsenal
honest,
and City's race for
to be
ages, and all of a
honest,
sudden,
dude, like Anton, I don't know who you've been listening to, but that's what I've been hearing. I mean, obviously, for it's different for us because people try to put it on, try to use it as banter. Like, it's your season it's your league to lose. You're gonna bottle it. But to be honest with you, there are only like a very few people who are like, you know, shaking up bones and throwing dice and taking up tarot cards saying that Arsenal's going to bottle it this season. I think a lot of people really believe that this is our year because even because because of how solid we are. Even
yeah,
like they point out like a lot of our flaws. Our biggest flaws they would say is we don't create as much from open play, but at the end of the day, like I think most people kind of do think that well, we are in the driving seat, even more than Liverpool, because I think what really when the Liverpool is definitely going to win the league, for me, at least when I remember it, it was probably in January, I think, because I think that's when it was like definitely after December when it was very clear that Arsenal just not doing anything and City
mm,
weren't doing anything. So I don't think at this point people were saying Liverpool were very clearly going to win because, as you can see, Man City didn't fall off yet. They were probably saying, Liverpool Man City title race. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
But uh, yeah, I think we're getting our flowers. I think the only people who are really upset, well, there are certain people who don't trust Arteta to win the league, and I don't blame them. They don't trust us to win it because we bottled it before, um, in their opinion, which is fair. I think those are fair assessments to make. I mean, at one point we were eight points clear in that 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago now, and we didn't win it. Granted, much different circumstances, but in their minds, that's a proof of concept, which is fair enough. Um, but like when I look at this, I do feel even more confident with how we've been playing and what's been happening, and I do think City do have a couple more losses in them as well, and we're much farther along. They're not going to have the same collapse, at least unless something happens to Haaland.
Yeah.
But yeah, uh, like what I'm trying to think of people who genuinely
I don't know
don't
if people
think.
who generally do. Yeah, look, I think, for instance, I'll tell you, for instance, Terry, I know where Terry's coming from, because Terry likes to say, like, oh, if Liverpool can get it together or City, they always like does like the clickbait, like, oh, City closed the gap. And we had this debate the other day in the group, like,
Yeah.
we like close the gap. It's the exact same gap it was at the start of the weekend. And he goes, well,
Mm.
you guys extended it to 9. And they just like, but that wasn't closing the gap. That's maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's sort of like people saying this idea of like, what if Liverpool start to click and everything starts to go on a run and they start winning a lot of games? What if City start to click? And I'm like, at a certain point, let's say use this scenario. We win this weekend, the two of them draw, it's 8 and 9. At a certain point, they can go on fire. For me, this is the way I feel. They can go on fire all they want. It's too late. We create too much of a buffer. Like we have to,
Yeah.
they could be on fire, but we have to really, really fuck it up. They could win
No,
the
like
next. You know what I mean?
that's
Like
what.
that for me, I don't. That's the narrative. That's sort of like, it's not people telling me that, oh, we're gonna screw it, we're gonna bottle up. It's not what I'm talking about. It's more like the idea. Like even today, the other day on Straight Facts, where they were just talking about this idea, like, oh, I still don't trust Arsenal as the leader. I think that they have a history of whatever. Like I'd be more afraid if we were behind Liverpool or City, as the two of them say. They're fans of that, like the two of them say. Who was it that was on the Man City fans who was on Straight Facts?
LB.
LB, yeah, he was saying, like, I'm not afraid of you guys. We don't fear you guys. We think that we're starting to look good. We can catch you. You guys are vulnerable. You guys don't know
I
how to
mean,
stand
to
the
be
line.
honest,
Like, And that
I
stuff
mean,
is
what
still there. I guess where are
oh,
they still they supposed to say? I guess you're trying
I
to say.
mean, like until we win the league, that's going to be the narrative.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you can't really blame them, really,
Yeah. I mean, if we
because
were in that position, that's what we'd be hoping for as well.
let's be honest. I mean, we're really happy right now, but like let's bring it down a level. We haven't won a single trophy with this team. We
Mm.
haven't taken anything across the line yet. Like
Yeah.
not anything. Yes, Arteta won the FA Cup, but who was there? Like Saka. That's about it.
I think he's the only one left.
Yeah. Was
Martinelli.
he even playing right wing at the time?
No, he was playing left wing back.
Yeah.
We had Martinelli because I just remember he like inherited like Emery's formation and everything.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
played with like the back three at the time. Yeah, I think it was like David Luiz, Socrates, and like I think it was Kolasinac or something like that.
But yeah, that's just to say it wasn't this team, these group of players. So they're gonna feel like they're in it, to be honest. I mean, look at that last table. Did Arsenal fans feel like they were out of it completely?
I did. I kind of felt like everything was going
a lot didn't. A lot was saying this is still on. It's still on, you know. And it's not over yet. It's only 10 games. And Man City are like 1 point off of that, you know. So yeah, he's a fan, he trusts his team, he's gonna say that. And to be honest with you, LB sometimes he likes rallying up the Arsenal fans a lot. Because even if it was Liverpool ahead, let's face it.
You know, people find it so easy to be like, oh, Liverpool. Like when Liverpool's in that position, people are like, yeah, they find it easy to say. That's the sort of the thing for me. Like when like the standard narrative being like Liverpool, okay, yeah, Liverpool winning the league. Like the people are so easy to say this, right? But for Arsenal, it's sort of like, oh, I don't know.
Because they've done that's because they've done it before. We haven't done it. Like, how would anyone like seriously, Anton, take yourself out of?
Hey, look, I'm happy for you to keep me accountable. You're the one person, by the way, who's keeping me down to earth on all of these. Somebody's got to keep me in the
like cover up the badge for a second. Like think about this. Like Liverpool when Liverpool won the league, they won it at a canter, and then they did it a second time. So if Liverpool were in our position right now and our roles were reversed, wouldn't everyone just say they're just gonna win the league at a canter again? Because that's what they do. And also their title races with Man City were even closer than ours. Like freaking losing the league at what, 97 points?
Yeah.
Like what is that? Like what the hell is that? And they were winning Champions Leagues and stuff. They were winning Champions Leagues. They were winning the cups. We haven't won anything.
But my point is more that like the teams are different now. Like that Man City.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the teams are different. At the end of the day, if Tottenham could put together the goddamn Galacticos, and I'm still not going to feel the same way that I do for Liverpool and Manchester City. I don't care who's in that team, they're Tottenham. And we feel like that at times because the badge has weight and the badge means something. And until we win something with the badge, it's not going to mean much to anyone else except us.
True. But to be honest, it seems like it means much to a lot of people, which is a segue to my next point, which is there's this, and this is nothing new. The more and more it seems like the reality setting in that Arsenal, as I keep saying, it's not just this points tally, it's how solid we've been, how we haven't been keeping anybody even a sniff defensively, which is kind of just it's that part of it, which is like where is the vulnerability in Arsenal? That's mainly where my main points are. Like as long as we don't show vulnerability, Liverpool could win every single game for the rest of the season, and I don't care.
I mean, all we need to do is keep winning because we're in the driving seat now.
But
we're driving.
Even like a weird draw here and there where one of those low block teams get us and somehow manage to keep us out, and we don't find our answer, we'll still be good. We have like many strikes to go, like warnings to go. It would have to happen on a consistent basis for us to drop off at this point. I mean, or even I think, well, if what happens, what we hope happens on the weekend, we can discuss it on the next pod. Like at that point, which would be even of a stronger position. Like, and that's sort of my thing. Is like we're not showing any vulnerabilities, which is the main part of it. So when people are going to predict that we're going to show vulnerabilities, to this point, there's no sign of it at all. Like not even one sign, which is kind of where my thing is. But this was a video I seen. It's been going viral. It's gone everywhere. And this is from I really need to learn how to do this shit better. This one has gone everywhere. And it's kind of this guy that brings the point up and he asks the question. So, and I think this can kind of serve to an idea of, I get it, like the London rivals and people can't stand us, whatever. But I think it's more of a global thing than that. It's that Arsenal internet sort of presence. And so he actually asks a really good question, and I'll play it, but I'll ask the question he kind of asks, which is like, through all these barren years of us losing, somehow the younger generation, the Gen Z, Arsenal have had like more Gen Z like fans that come on to join Arsenal, join the Arsenal fan base than anybody else. Our fan base is the quickest growing fan base, especially online. And people are like, why didn't any of those fans want to latch on to a team that was winning stuff? And I think that's sort of like, anyway, so he describes this really well. I want to get your thoughts on what he has to say in his little monologue here.
So let me get this straight. You haven't won the league in what, 20 years? You're not winning the Champions League. Mm-hmm. But your fan base is growing. And they're all young. You just don't get it, do you?
Yeah, I do.
We are talking about Gen Z, a generation defined by 15-second TikToks, instant gratification, and the attention span of a gnat. Not the state-owned projects, not the team that buys a trophy every August, but
They chose us.
the slow burn,
The long game.
the beautiful, frustrating. How? Why? Because, my friends, class is permanent. Mm-hmm. We are the vinyl record in a world of disposable Spotify playlists. We are the vibe.
Yeah.
And in this era, the vibe is everything.
Yeah.
We've got kids in New York, in Lagos, in Tokyo, who have never seen us lift a Premier League trophy,
Yeah.
wearing the cannon with more pride than fans of clubs who've won it all.
Yeah.
And forget trophies for a second. Let's be brutally honest. If I was a rival fan, I would be sick with jealousy. Oh, I'd be fuming. Imagine spending £1 billion just to be culturally irrelevant. Imagine having a fan base that's just a collection of tourists and glory hunters while we have a unified global family. It must be exhausting for them because this drought that they love to mock, it wasn't a drought. It was a filter. It filtered out the tourists. It filtered out the weak-willed. It burned away everyone who was just here for the quick fix. And what's left? The core, the believers. So this unity we have now, this commitment, it wasn't bought, it was forged. It was forged in the fire of 8-2 defeats. It was forged in the banter era. It was forged in a decade of almosts and next years. We've been in the trenches together, and that creates a bond that winning every year can never ever buy. When we finally lift that big one, and believe me, it is coming, it won't just be a celebration, it will be a global catharsis. It will be 2 decades of shared hope and loyalty erupting all at once.
So I just want to big up Arsenal Inside Out for that one. That's from their channel. Go check them out. That video gives me goosebumps every time. I've seen this about 7 or 8 times now. Like, what are your main takeaways behind that? Because I think he brings up some incredible points in terms of just how this fan base has grown, why maybe our fan base gets under the skins of the rival fans. Like, what are your main takeaways of when you were watching that? What were you thinking?
Yeah, well, first of all, that video is gonna piss off a lot of rivals. First of all, but I don't like. He's not wrong. I still don't get why we have our fan base is growing so much. Maybe I think it's almost like if because we've been kind of like come up underdogs. People love an underdog story, right? And first of all, our media is probably one of the best media in the world in terms of the media team, in terms of their rollouts and stuff like that. So the stuff that we do kind of get trending, and obviously the online as well, like in terms of the online content, online fan bases, content creators are quite big, like they're huge. So yeah, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe those are the reasons why our stuff is growing from a Gen Z standpoint. But yeah, yeah, it was a nice video. And I think uh when he was saying, you know, the years is pretty much, the years in the mud is pretty much a filter. I mean, it's true. Well, I mean, it's kind of true. We still have like quite a bit of toxic people in the fan base, um but I think a lot of the tourists have left, and I think maybe because millennials are the ones who grew up watching Thierry Henry, and those are the ones who kind of pioneered a lot of stuff that we watch today, like YouTube and stuff like that. Maybe that's the reason why because Gen Z is like after millennial, maybe because the Gen Z guys are the ones who are kind of using the stuff that the millennials
I
built.
mean, the Gen Z's older brother or sister would have been a millennial,
Yeah,
right? So, like, for instance,
Yeah.
a lot of people will just go for a certain club because their brother or sister goes for the same club
Mm,
as well. So that also kind of
Yeah.
goes hand in hand with that. But I just find it very interesting, like that.
It's almost like the world is holding their breath, and you know, in terms of when is Arsenal actually going to win the thing again?
They're,
'Cause
they're
it's a
worried
storyline.
about how annoying we're going to be if we win.
Also, we need to understand that sports is about storylines. I don't care what anyone says. It's about the story. You know, everyone says that it's just about the winning. They don't watch sports. It's always been about the story. Always has, always will be. When people talk about why MJ is the greatest of all time, they don't give you his stats. They talk about the stories. They talk about what he did. They talk about his attitude. They talk about what it was like during that time. It's the storyline. The the three-peat again, that's a storyline, you know. So Arsenal going on this 20-year drought and maybe eventually maybe picking up something is a storyline, and people are invested and people are watching, and some people want to be there, some people want to be a part of it when it happens. I think that's why.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's gonna shut shit down.
I thought kind of like I'm kind of feeling like it's funny because it's like a lot of fans from clubs who aren't even our direct rivals are also shooting themselves and like about how good we're going, and this is scaring them. Like we're starting to see at an earlier point in the season what we were seeing back 2 years ago when we were challenged, when we pushed City all the way to the title. Like, you know, Spurs fans showing up to their own stadium in City kits, wanting them to lose. The shamelessness of stuff that was going on then. Last year during the Champions League, the shamelessness in the hate-alongs. It gets more and more intense when they start to believe that Arsenal could actually do it. Now, in those circumstances, they got their way and we fumbled it, which is like, I think, what is that they're all holding on to now, which is in the last times they threatened to do it, they fumbled it. Maybe it'll happen again. But
that's it. That's pretty much it. Because if you're basing it off the football you're watching, there's nothing you can really say.
It's fallen away. The ugly football stuff, we've been having to like eat that for the last couple of weeks as the consistency has started to become inevitable.
I mean,
and all of a sudden it's gone away.
Well, that's because, you know, when Hussam has said that, you know, scoring set pieces is consistent, you know, a month ago, and we score set piece in every single game since he said it. And we've just increased the gap over and over and over again. People start to realize, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. It is consistent. You know, a lot of the rivals, when I'm seeing their YouTube channels like Saeed, you know, Matisse and all those guys, they're literally going and like I'm not saying it's inconsistent anymore. I'm not saying that. That's a dumb argument. It's consistent. Like even the rivals like are saying that. You know what I'm saying? It's only very stubborn people who are like holding on to the notion that what we're doing isn't consistent. And if we keep doing what we're doing, we're gonna win. If you're watching the football, and you're watching everyone else's football, what we do is consistent, and we've built a team where if one person goes down, the entire thing doesn't just fall to pieces. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the truth is, and everyone's going to be happy to hear me say this, we do have 28 games to go, and we still need to remain consistent over the next 28 games, even if it's not
that's a lot of
consistent to the
football.
bar there is now. Yeah, but I just have faith in the formula of what we're seeing so far this season, that I feel like we can carry it all the way this time around.
Yeah, I think so.
And yeah, it will be a global catharsis if we finally do it. Like,
I was just saying right now, it's like in my mind.
I think I'm gonna cry, honestly.
Same, but like in my mind, if we don't win it this season, I don't think I'll ever back this team to win again.
I look at me. I'm literally on the internet everywhere, giving my full chest. I'm nowhere to hide if this team.
It's not about me.
I've gone in. I bet my house on this season at this point. Like,
for me personally, it's not even about the getting cooked or anything like that. It's just I don't think
cook me.
I don't think I have the heart to believe.
Yeah.
If they let me down again, not again. Not after being this good at the start. Not after having this point gap.
I mean, I think at least the Premier League. I think the Champions League, you wouldn't feel that way about.
At least, bro. The Prem is what we want.
I know, right?
The bro said at least the Prem, dude.
Yeah.
That is like the thing. That is the thing. That's all we want, bro.
Here we go. David comes in. Again, what do you think would make the wheels fall off? What could possibly sabotage it? I'll go to Cal on that one.
What would make the wheels
honestly
fall off?
honest answer, not or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, if Declan Rice and Zubimendi get big injuries, both of them, I think that is DEFCON 2. Like that is.
It's sort of like the Death Star. You know how like Luke Skywalker found the one part in the Death Star, you drop it in, and the whole. I think that is Declan Rice. And
if Zubimendi gets a big injury, I said I don't think we're going to win anything. I think that was a little bit overboard, or if Declan Rice, vice versa. But if we at least have one of them, we can suffer through the season. If we lose both of them, I think we're done. I can't see us doing anything.
Very hard. What our midfield will be with Moreno and Norgard.
Yeah, that's toast.
Losing Raya. I think we'd be fine with Kepa. I think when Kepa has come in, he has done the job. Like even against Brighton, but in Brighton the defense was nowhere near as solid as usual. And he was actually making the saves, and I felt safe. Like I think there's sort of like the safety, and David, you would know, you're a Man United fan. The difference between a Bayindir or an Onana and what you've got now with Le Mans, right? It's just sort of that feeling that you get with a keeper. I don't feel nervous with Kepa there.
Kepa did more saving in that game than Raya did for the previous 5. Just because of we don't Kepa actually had to actually do some work. A lot of times Raya's picking flowers in goal because he has to save one rolling shot on target. You know what I'm saying? So as long as we kind of keep playing the way we've been playing, it should be fine. But I do think Raya also, what he provides in terms of build-up is underrated as well.
Look, I think to a point, Saka, I know Madueke stepped in for a little bit, but you could definitely tell we were lacking something when Saka was gone. Like he was just not the same. Yeah, definitely at this point with who's out. If Saka goes out against Sunderland, my God, we'd be fucked at this point.
Yes,
right. To be fair, he is absolutely.
Yeah. And the thing about Raya, which is something that Ramsdale just couldn't do, is the fact that he doesn't have to like he's able to keep his concentration through the entire 90 minutes, even if he has nothing to do, which is I don't think people understand how mentally tough you have to be to do that, to just stand there for like an hour and a half
Gotta be switched on.
and at any moment just twitch shot save. And he does it. Even sometimes the shots that are offside or something like that, and he saves it anyway. You know?
I wonder if they give like
So yeah.
goalkeepers like military training, like like in terms of
Yeah.
focus, because that's how it's like
Yeah.
in the military. You even though it can be a quiet moment, you still need to be switched on because you don't know what happens at any point. I think it's
Yeah.
sort of like that for a keeper.
I think, David, and what I think is because we've built this point gap at this point, I think losing Raya to a major injury wouldn't be an excuse.
Yeah, I agree. David goes, Rice, though, is the person for me. His set piece delivery is unbelievable. This is why I'm so adamant we should have brought a midfielder rather than Sesko. But everyone thinks I'm crazy. Okay. Actually, I want to address this because actually Cal was going to address this earlier, but I'm like, this is way off topic. But now that you're here, so I actually to many points agree with you on that take. It just is. It's more like what sort of midfielder you bring in. So you use the example of a Declan Rice. I said to KJ yesterday, I'm like, so to David's point, let's say that you can spend the same amount of money on Sesko, the same amount of money on Valverde as building up on your project. So it doesn't mean that I think the idea of this is like we're not winning the league this year. We're trying to build towards something, which is where I think the conversation is always why it's always like, no, that won't work, and that won't work, and that won't work. I see, David, what you're going with. You're going with what are we building towards? Rather, you don't have the expectations of we need to win the league this year, which sometimes I feel like when KJ talks, he's sort of coming from that perspective, like, yeah, but this year we wouldn't have a striker. We'd still be frustrated with Hoyland. And I understand it'd be
I think you could bite that bullet though. I think you could bite that bullet if you were in control of the midfield.
I actually agree with that take. If you bought a Valverde, I know he's not available, but I'm talking about players in Rice's category.
Like let's say Baliba. Let's say something more believable, like Baliba or something.
Yeah.
Or Baliba. I mean, to be honest, like first of all, I don't understand why Mainu isn't getting played. But let's say if your midfield was, Baliba, Mainu, and Cunha or something like that. You got rid of Bruno. I think that's a much better midfield than what you have right now. I think you have the pace, you have the recovery of Baliba, and this is just with one extra player in the midfield. You have the pace, you have the recovery, you have the ball winning, you have the technical ability, and of Mainu, who I think has, well, to be honest, you don't get to see it recently, but when he burst onto the scene, dude, I was saying he had world-class potential. And, obviously Cunha, who's bona fide. So, and I think with, first of all, Mainu can score goals. He showed that he's able to score goals.
You know what? I'm just going to give David
Cunha,
the link because I feel like David wants to speak. I'm going to give David the link. David, is he okay with that? I'll get you the link because I think that we can have discussed this Man United thing. Cal, you keep going, but
Cunha,
I think we'll go down the show. So
Cunha can score goals as well. So, but I couldn't. Sesko is also building for the future as well. It's just that you kind of sacrificed.
In a different way. I think it's like prioritizing something else.
Yeah.
Here, Dave, if you want to jump in, we can actually have this discussion. I was wanting to have this discussion yesterday when we were in the WhatsApp. We can bring it up because I think it's a chance for you really to kind of describe your position but I think where you've given KJ and Terry ammunition to rip you is when you start dropping names like Darwin Núñez, and that has just got negative connotations to it. And that sort of, I feel like that undermined your overall point, which I agreed with. Yeah, in fact, the season that Arsenal signed Rice. So yeah, I've sent you.
That was
the link.
That was a very important season, but also you just need a coach that's actually capable of developing your players as well. That's the thing, right? Like it or not, Arteta did develop Rice. He's a different player than to what he was at West Ham. He's not the same guy. He's gone up a level.
To be fair, in the Man United team, you already kind of got Bruno who can play a deep lying role and kind of like a number 10 role. Like, so if you brought like a Baleba, I think Bruno sort of has that box crasher sort
No,
of
sell
ability in the
Bruno.
midfield.
Sell Bruno,
You would
bro.
sell, yeah, I think you start fresh, maybe.
Like if we're doing a rebuild, you need to just get rid. Just get rid. You can't have guys like
although
that.
he's been their best player, like he's been the one that's the most consistent one.
Yeah, but it's like you're holding
So,
on to shit. It's like if we kept Oba, like Oba was never gonna be like a shit player for us, but he would have stopped us from, just moving forward. You need to move
Yeah.
forward. Same thing with Maguire. Like just get rid, move forward. Like they just need to move forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if you're gonna do the rebuild, do it properly. That way, like you get all the players that you need. You get fresh players in all positions. Just do it the right way. Like the clinging on to these players, man, it doesn't make any sense to me. Just fucking get rid.
Look, I'm a little bit more cutthroat when it comes to this stuff. When I talk, like I try to be as nice as possible because I don't want to insult people. But like, I just feel like here we go. David is in the building. Wait, it says device not. Wait, it says add to stage. David says the device is not connected. Wait. Can we? Oh, here he is. Here he is. All right, David in the building. Welcome to Fire Them Cannons, making his debut now.
Dude.
On Fire Them Cannons. You know what? We actually have a concept that we want to start on this channel, which is like football therapy. So maybe this will be a demo of that. You have a chance to literally clear the floor because I feel like you've been taking bullets on this take, like I think unnecessarily in certain respects. So, man, you have the floor.
How's it going, guy? Can you hear me clearly?
We can.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Man, they went crazy at me for this. Maybe it's the way I come across sometimes. Maybe I'm too passionate. I don't know. But in my mind, I know it's only been 10 games for Sesko, right? But look at the stick. We're on an Arsenal channel. Look at the stick Gyökeres has got, right?
Yeah.
At Arsenal. And he scored how many goals? He's your top scorer, right? I've given him stick 2, right? But that's because I hate Arsenal. You know that.
Yeah.
Why is Sesko just getting away with the fact that he's not been great? He's not been great. He's not integrated at all as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what you guys think. What do you think of Sesko?
I'll let Cal go first. Yeah.
I think the reason why he's not getting stick is is because he's younger. He's much younger. And he isn't he's not expected to take you guys over the line. Remember, we got Gyökeres to help us win the fucking league. That we haven't done in the last 20 years. Sesko didn't come there to do that. He came there to as young potential, and I think that's the direction you were going with him. And actually, I don't think he's a bad signing, and I think he's just gonna take some time.
I agree with that, and I hope that's the case. Yeah. Again, I think people sometimes think I'm a bit personal with this stuff. It's not that. I did call him a lamppost on Straight Facts, but that's me getting carried away sometimes.
Yeah, people think he's a phenomenal athlete, so you couldn't necessarily call him a lamppost. But
yeah, the reason I called him a lamppost is because his best attribute so far is jumping up, headering it onto Mbumo, and that's how we won the penalty against Chelsea. Not the penalty; it was last man, red card, right? But my argument was this, right? To what Cal just said now, I think if you pay 70 million for someone, come on.
Oh yeah, I forgot you paid 70 million for him. Yeah.
I mean that's what question before we move on. What did Ekitike cost?
90.
Yeah, more.
Wow, fair enough. I mean, he's been sensational, right? I'm not saying Sesko needs to do that, but Gyökeres was cheaper.
Base plus add-ons, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
My point was this. It was widely publicized. I said this on Straight Facts the other day. Wilcox, the guy who does our signings, made a decision that he had a conversation. God knows who was in that room. I wish I was in it, right? Do we get a striker or do we get a midfielder? He thought we need more goals. Let's get a striker. In my opinion, and where we're at now, I believe had we got a midfielder, and listen, we don't know if that midfielder would have been great and would have delivered, right? We don't know that. But let's say fingers crossed they did, and they had an impact that Declan Rice has had on Arsenal. We would control games more, which means we concede less. We'd also create more because we control the game, And I think that means Cunha and Mbumo may have created more for Hoyland, for Xerxes, for Obi Martin, whoever else we had there. I don't think we should have gone for Sesko this window. I think we should have waited. And I don't think that's that wild, man.
I don't think that's crazy. I think
No.
it does start from the midfield, and I do think, yeah, you would have definitely, if you got like a Belieber, you definitely control more of the games, and yeah, you'd have definitely created more. That's not a crazy take. It's not.
And then where this
No.
went crazy, when you
brought up the Darwin Nunes,
No,
that's
but
the mistake you made.
Hold on, I didn't make that mistake, Anton. I would never have brought that up. I made this video in the summer, so you guys, you need some context. Terry's very clever. He's been in this game for many years, right? I made a video on my YouTube in the summer. The options were Ollie Watkins, Sesko, right? And I was scratching my head looking at the transfer window thinking, I don't really want Ollie Watkins. You know, I mean, look what he's done this season. We don't even need to talk about it, right? That would have been the wrong choice, right? And I'm not too sure on Sesko because I'm a bit worried that this is going to be another Hoyland. So I looked at it and I was like, Liverpool are desperate to get rid of Darwin Nunes because they want Isak. We could potentially get him cheap. And he was sensational at Benfica. And I thought, this is just a thought, that maybe he could fit into Amorim's system as that big, strong, tenacious number 9, like he was at Benfica and like Gyökeres was at Sporting. So I made a video on it. What does Terry do on Straight Facts? Hey, David, 4 months ago, you made a video that you wanted Darwin Nunes ahead of Sesko. Can you please explain that?
Yeah.
And I responded. I said, you definitely didn't watch that video when I released it. You've gone back, obviously, this week and gone and seen some history to see if I have an agenda on Sesko. That's not what it is. I don't have an agenda on Sesko. It was a thought process of mine in the transfer window that maybe Darwin Nunes is an option for us.
Yeah.
Right.
To be honest, and that's not even, I've seen some suggestions that people, have had even for Arsenal in terms of what people would settle for, and they've been kind of wild as well. Just during the madness,
to settle for Ollie Watkins. There were people were saying, when we had
people,
the choice between Sesko and Gyökeres. We had first pickings, really. If this was a striker draft, whatever, we had the number 1 pick, right? And we could have had and there are people who are panicking so much. You're like, oh, I don't know if we can get either of those two of the line. I'll take Watkins.
Yeah, people. But I've gotten like in arguments with people who said I would throw my toys off the pram if we got Ollie Watkins. People were mad at me for saying that. So to be honest,
we had the number 1 pick. You let both of those two go through your fingers and end up with a 29 to 30. Now will be 30 soon. Ollie Watkins, who's declining.
I do think Darwin Nunes is more of a Gyökeres play style. Whether he's clinically, he's not clinical at all.
This is what I'm saying, Cal.
Style,
do you see my thought process behind it? I know it could come across crazy. I know it could come across controversial because, frankly, Darwin Nunes has got a bit of a bad reputation in the Prem. He wasn't awful, by the way. He wasn't awful. This guy could score goals from bloody anywhere. And he scored important goals for Liverpool. Granted, if we signed him at Man United, I would have wanted him to perform better than he did at Liverpool. But my thought process was maybe in an Amorim system, that Gyökeres type system that worked for Gyökeres, maybe that's the way forward and we could get him cheap. But I wasn't going to bring this up. I wasn't going to talk about Darwin Nunes. But Terry brought it up. But now it's kind of mixed into the fact that...
your original point... I agree with you 100%. And I know I'm going to get questioned on this because people are like, oh, hey, Anton, you always back David. It's like, I back David but I back you in situations where the logic you're throwing to me actually makes sense to me. And I'm willing to, trying to explain to them. I think just for instance, when you're arguing with other Manchester United fans, there's obviously a lot more of a emotion, passion behind it. And there's always going to be a response to everything. But I feel like for us, like if we're talking about Arsenal, for instance, we're talking about Sesko, right? We had arguments Sesko, Gyökeres. I was very much on the Gyökeres side. This is why I'm not surprised that Sesko is not doing it United. I desperately didn't want this player. I didn't think that I just didn't see it. I watched him play in the Bundesliga, and this is you're basically seeing very much what you got there. This is the difference between Sesko in the Bundesliga and Sesko now. Sesko has yet to score a worldie for Manchester United. So he scores about 4 or 5 worldies in a season, like absolutely insane, insane goals, like that you don't see coming, and all of a sudden hits the back of the net. You're like, "Whoa, how the fuck did that happen?" That will happen 2, 3, 4 times this season, right? But at the end of the day, that only counts up to 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah.
How many goals does Sesko have in the season so far?
2.
Yeah, I think he may have scored. Is it 2 and 1 assist? I believe. They've not been pretty goals, but listen, goals are goals. Let's not talk about whether they're pretty or not.
That's the thing. That's why he has all these great highlight reels. So he scores these phenomenal.
He's living off that.
Goals.
He's living off that outside of the foot goal he scored on YouTube
against Bayern Munich. Right.
I mean,
that's literally what you're getting. But like everything,
he has 13 goals. He has 13 goals.
Like,
yeah, he had 13 goals all comps last season. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's not. This is what I mean, Cal. And Darwin Núñez is nowhere near that either. But that system wasn't suiting Darwin Núñez, and I understand why that's a wild take for people. But I'm really going off of what he did at Benfica, and tell me where Sesko has had a season like Darwin Núñez has had at Benfica, right?
Never.
So, in my
He's never
opinion,
scored over 15 goals in
my opinion,
campaign.
exactly. Darwin Núñez has shown that in the correct system, maybe he could work. So that was it. And again, this was a take in the summer where, quite frankly, us YouTube content creators, we do anything for a video, right? Let's be honest. Yeah. We're trying to make videos. But that's not me diminishing what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. But you just make content because there's nothing to make, right?
Yeah.
But listen, Terry's experience, he pulled it up on me on Straight Facts. And this is what it is. This is part of the game. I love it. But listen, maybe I don't explain my points properly, but yeah. And then obviously it went into the fact that...
By the way, that is it's great publicity for you that Terry's looking at your videos and bringing it up on his show, by the way.
True.
So,
yeah, that is a good point. I don't know if you watched the Straight Facts with Hussam and Mo. Like,
he brought it up again. Yeah, he brought it up again.
Yeah. You got him wound up. I gotta tell you, no one winds up. I've been watching Terry for about 4 or 5 years now. I've never seen an individual wind Terry up like you.
Yeah, I mean, he was upset. He was actually upset. I was like, Jesus, like, man, I'm not trying to like.
I saw his face go white, by the way. Yeah. When you were talking about it on the Straight Facts, I saw his face go white, and then at the end he goes, yeah, I hear that. Which, by the way, is Terry Knees for. I completely disagree with you, but I'm going to be professional.
Terry Knees is fun.
I think where I lost him is where I said, Ahmad is no better than Anthony, and
that's the one. That's the one where he turned white. He could see the blood just disappear from his face. You're like,
yeah, that's what are you doing, David?
That's where that one was definitely emotion. You know what? Ahmad had a bad game against. I mean, this is me being very harsh. He scored a great goal, right? But defensive, he's not been great this season. And I just thought to myself, oh, for fuck's sake, sorry to swear, guys. I'd honestly love to sub Anthony on here, and I feel like he could do the exact same thing. But when you're in the rant, you're in a passion. Yeah. And listen, I'll stand by it. You know me, bro. I'll always put my hands up. But listen, let's go back to Arsenal. I asked earlier, what do you think would sabotage this? I think it's Declan Rice, right? I think that's the only person that can sabotage this.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on this. He's the most important. I've had this conversation with my dad on multiple occasions. He's the one player that if you took him out of this Arsenal team, we don't have a replacement for. The replacement for him is playing up front at the moment, by the way. So if that's one of the things I was more nervous about. And we saw it on the midweek because Norgard, as Cal's outlined earlier on the show, he's completely just not on the same level as any of the other midfielders. It's almost like playing with 10 men with Norgard. So when you're taking Marino then out of that midfield and then put him in the striker position, and then let's say we lost Rice this weekend. If we lost Rice this weekend with Gyökeres out, we're in trouble.
So you're saying
the set piece solution is a huge thing. So when we're not able to break teams down and we're able to get a great delivery from Rice, which we can guarantee at least 1 or 2 of them per game minimum, you take that part out of the team. Yeah, then all of a sudden we're starting to draw games probably because the defense is still pretty good, but he's a big part of our solidity as well defensively.
Your depth is what is scary right now, right? It's true, isn't it? I mean, even losing Gyökeres, I mean, Marino's come in and scored 2. Was it 2?
But we're at the line. This weekend we're at the line. Like I gotta tell you, if we lose an extra player in the middle of this game, we're at where this is. I always say it to Cal. This is a huge game, right? Because obviously, what it means for in the title race. If we lose this, we're now their matchup is coming in, and we're one of them wins, they're back in it, and they're right under our noses.
My question
they
to you
they
guys-
draw, it's the same, right? But like we need to get over the line on this game. All our guys will be back on the other side of the international break. But right now we are bare thin. That depth that I illustrate for you has been tested to the limit at this point.
I think you're going a little bit doomer there.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? From me, I think you'll take that. Sign up for that.
Yeah. Quick question before I go. Who are we
the show,
blaming?
Scandal.
Who are we blaming these injuries on? Is it the schedule, or is it the way training? Is it training? Is it what is it? Arsenal seems
That's a really good question.
It has to be something to do with the training.
it has to be, right?
I think
One
one
of
of
our-
the intensity, by the way. I think this as Cal was illustrating before, this clean sheet record is by no coincidence. The work rate that some of these players you're seeing them put together just to keep these clean sheets, like you see them bursting down 70 yards so that Burnley don't break away and score a goal. Like the defending, the intensity of how we're defending is insane. They're having to be, and the training sessions must also be intense. So it's sort of that part to it, which is why I think we're dropping off. But I think that was why we decided we needed to have a big squad, because we knew that would be a necessity to
And
allow us
still
to
you're
play the type of
saying-
football we wanted to do.
Still, you're saying that you're getting thin now in regards to depth because there's so many
Right now,
injuries.
in this moment in time.
So
like
if
three of our players come back. It's
The
like
cavalry is
really-
on the way.
Literally-
who is that? Who comes back?
So-
Madueke, Odegaard, and Havertz come back after the break.
Okay.
And with
So
Martinelli,
that's why I was saying, Anton, you know what I'm
it
saying.
was fair because Zubamendi was suspended from the Champions League game, so that was like
Yeah,
that you could felt like that was really big.
Yeah, yeah,
we still won
yeah.
3-0.
yeah. What I was gonna say is, I think first of all, a lot of our injuries have been, at least some of them have been unlucky. I think the Odegaard injury is just unlucky. It's literally him getting injuries in the matches 3 times. He landed on his shoulder, he comes back, lands on the same shoulder again, comes back. Someone kicks his knee and he does an ACL. I've never seen that happen in my life, where someone gets like an MCL or something like that with a knee clap. And then so that the Odegaard one was unlucky. I think some of the new players aren't used to the intensity of training, so that's why people like Madueke is breaking down. That's why Gyökeres is probably getting little broken down a little bit. And obviously Havertz had the big injury, and then I don't think he fully recovered, and I think he's done something again. So I think it's just I think the intensity of training at Arsenal is better. I mean, is like tough, but I do think most of our players can handle it, because even, you know what I'm saying? So
I think what I'm
to
saying
be,
is
to be honest, I find it very unlikely. I'm sorry to tell you this, David. It's just that's what we're saying. It's the confidence of this is not just that, it's the gap in the league. So if we were to win and then they were to draw, it would be 8 and 9 going into this break, right? That means that we would like this is where I always push back when Terry keeps saying, like, what if Liverpool finds form? What if City finds form? For me, I'm like, they can find form all they want. The gap is so fucking huge. We need to really drop off. Like, and that for me, and at the moment, there's no signs of that. We're not even conceding. Forget about conceding goals or losing games, because in order to lose games, we need to concede goals, and probably more than one. We're not even conceding chances. We're not even conceding shots on target.
No,
and that is what is like. It's like so many bullets you need to penetrate us with to finally get to the core. And that's what gives me.
It's looking undeniable. It's looking undeniable. That's the truth. And the scary thing is the defense, right? Forget everything else. If you can't lay a glove on them, I mean, what we're doing here, it's just not, you can't lay a glove on Arsenal at the moment. And that's the scary thing for me, that even if you didn't score goals, you're not going to lose the game even, that's already a great starting point. So listen, it's scary. I don't want to admit it, but there's still that question mark there, that will you bottle it? Will you fall apart? Will injuries catch up with you? That's the question mark.
I mean, injuries already caught. Again, as I said, the injuries already caught up with us. I mean, the only one, as I said, is that corner that's the blind spot in the Death Star. If you want to watch Star Wars, in the original
Mhm.
Star Wars, right? And they drop the one spot in the Death Star that blows the whole thing up. That probably would be Declan Rice.
Yeah, I
That's
hear you.
Yeah.
that's the spot in the Death.
Well,
That's
Yeah.
Gabrielle's up there as well. I know Mosquera.
but I don't know necessarily about that because
No, but what I'm
our
saying
defense,
is,
all 8 of our defenders could start for Chelsea.
but
All
what
8.
I will say
Like,
though is Gabriel, he could easily score 10 goals this season.
Oh
Honestly.
yeah. Yeah.
I think he
And-
will actually.
And guys, realistically, I think I said this on Straight Facts. Actually, they were saying that Gyökeres has got to score more, he's got to do more, and I actually backed Gyökeres and said, you know what? Even if Gyökeres got 12, 14 goals this season, I honestly believe Gabriel could get 10.
Yeah.
And you know what? You add that together, that's 24 goals. That makes up for Gyökeres maybe not getting the 24 goals this first season. So
Yeah.
Gabriel's important. I mean, this guy's scoring goals from corners for fun. So
The
I
thing
think
is,
he's more.
we don't need the volume because of our defense. This is the
Yeah,
thing, and this
true,
is something
true.
no one predicted it was going to be like this. No one predicted that our defense was going to be this solid. You know, we can legitimately win almost every one of our games 1-0 or 2-1,
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
you know what? That's the last time Arsenal were really dangerous, when you were singing that song 1-0 to the Arsenal. That was like, mid 90s.
I mean, in between
And
that, we had a certain guy named Thierry Henry.
Totally. Yeah. Well, listen, it is what it is. I've got to shoot, guys. But
I
thank
want to
you
ask
so
one
much
more
for
question
having
though.
me.
I
Go
want
for it.
to, because we had curiosities. We're talking about the all-time record for the most amount of clean sheets in a row was Man United with 14 when you guys had Van der Sar in goal.
Oof.
So, do you recall that season? And did you guys in that point of time have an entire month where you guys didn't concede a goal?
Mate, to be honest, we were so used to glory then that we didn't even really look at stuff like that. They were just an
Yeah.
extra. This is the truth. This is not me being big-headed. It was just an
No,
extra
be
thing.
it.
It was literally like, oh, is it? Did we go for? Is that what we've done? Oh, great, fine. But we were just focused on, let's win another Premier League. Let's hopefully win another Champions League. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah, it's like the things shift. Yeah.
with Arsenal now, you anything you it's the truth right now with your fans, not all of you, but any record you can look like you want to break, you want to talk about it and you want to break it.
Because it's
So
all we
you
have, because we don't have a trophy. Dude,
You-
you can say it. It's fine. It's fine.
you
Like,
know
I-
what I'm saying, Cal, right? You know what I'm saying.
It's fine. And
You're
we
kind-
need to fix that problem. We need to fix that problem.
And that's why
Yeah,
that's why my
sometimes,
title of this
like,
video
I
is.
love, for me personally, and we were talking about this earlier, I want them to go for the record, the Chelsea record, because I feel like we win the league if we go for the record. But I want us to go for the record because I think it'll help us win the league. You know what I'm saying?
The
And if
beauty
this
of it,
team,
though.
yeah,
Go on. Finish.
like
go
if
on.
this team starts winning, the away goals thing that people were keeping a track of, best record against the top 6, all these things will start to mean less because we actually like having silverware. Now we're
That's the
going to start
point.
telling other teams, put your medals on the table. When people start walking up to Manchester United fans and telling them, what have you won in the last 5-10 years? That's
Yeah.
when
Exactly.
that's when the fun begins.
But that's the answer to Anton's question, though, is at the time, because we were so used to winning, Anton, them things, although they matter, they're just an extra badge on the top, an extra badge on the uniform. It's not really that big of a deal. But for you guys, because you haven't yet got that Premier League, you're kind of just looking at all these other things. But the truth is, it would be very Arsenal-like to win a Premier League and set a record in some sort of place, because last time you did something special like that, you went invincible, right?
Yeah.
And we've been
Yeah.
hearing about it ever since. So it would be very fitting. This is me being honest. It would be very fitting for Arsenal to win a Premier League and set some sort of a record also, because that's another thing that you guys can talk about for another 10 years. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine? Dan will be bringing it up. Ty would be bringing it up on AFTV all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How many kids' goals do you concede in a season?
And I think, and for me, honest, and David, I think in order to, we haven't won the league in over 20 years, and I feel almost to undo, almost to like stop the hoodoo, you kind of have to do something amazing in order to break the curse. It's almost like you have to be insane. So, like if we win this league and it's not really a big title race, like we win it with more than 5 points or something like that, it wouldn't surprise me, because I feel it would be kind of poetic for that to be the way that we do win it. Just, we're just way better than everyone else, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's the way we do it.
I
if we
agree,
win.
and I think if you do win it, it will be poetic in that sense, and you will break some sort of a record,
And you
whether
have
it be
to
the clean
admit, David, as
sheets.
well. Before I know you're wanting to go, but
Yeah,
you have to admit,
yeah,
David,
yeah.
as well, right? Us winning the title should come as no surprise to anybody. We've been knocking on the door for all these years. So all these time people say second. Eventually, you're hanging around there enough. The other teams will drop off, and you are going to get your chance to finally do it. Consistency. That's what's key to consistency, is that eventually it breeds results.
What I'm saying is being consistent in second is not guaranteed also, right? So even though you were consistently there, it don't mean first can drop off, but doesn't mean you won't. And I'll be honest,
Last year.
I've been hoping you would, but it looks like you haven't. And exactly what you've just said is accurate, right? That you haven't dropped off. And in fact, you've got better. And it looks like it's your time, man. It hurts me. It really does hurt me. Like
It surely doesn't hurt you as much as Liverpool.
Look, you got to understand that we have been through a lot of pain ourselves. So we can't just continue to feel this abuse.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to have our turn to be happy.
True. It's true. Here's the truth, Cal. I live in London. I've grown up in London. I went school with Positive Dan. So his takes and his delusion has. I
was also going to win 100 points. I felt for you. I was talking about with Cal, like the subject matter that Dan puts together before his podcast. Like, will Arsenal win 100 points this season? Will we break the record of defense?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Will we win the quadruple?
But I've known him since school, like since 13, 14 years old, and I've grown up in London. Should I support Man United? Probably not. But listen, it's what I got taught by my dad. It's kind of like religion, right? It's very difficult to change thereafter. It's embedded in you, especially if you really believe in it. And I was lucky enough to grow up in a time where Man United were absolutely amazing. And I just looked at my dad and was like, thank God you've taught me this. But when you grow up in London, Cal, Arsenal, especially the years I grew up, I was born in 91. We were like that. I mean, our matches were insane. I mean, we were having fights. It was just incredible times. And I hate
Imagine
Arsenal.
Roy Keane versus Vieira.
That's it. And I just hate Arsenal more than
Arsene
anyone
Wenger
else.
moments, like when he got sent off and he went off of the stage and he was like,
yeah, that's what I mean. We've got history, right?
Yeah.
And when people say to me, "You're not a real Man United fan if you want to see, if you rather see Liverpool win the league than Arsenal." Yeah, maybe. I can only go with what I feel. I do not want to see Arsenal win the Premier League, guys.
I mean, what you really want, let's be honest, this is how I feel, right? I just want us to win the league. Anytime anybody else wins the league, it hurts. I thought last year, maybe we end the City run, I'll be happy for Liverpool. No, I didn't. You can see the hatred that comes out of my mouth about Liverpool now, right? So, like,
after last season, I took a look at United fans. I shake their hand and I go, I understand. In terms of why you hate these lot. Liverpool fans, they kind of show their ass. Like, my, these guys are insufferable. At least when City wins it, no one cares, but like these Liverpool lot, bro.
Put it this way, I'm very much like, my brother-in-law's a Liverpool fan, right? And when Liverpool are winning like they have been, Liverpool might not even be playing Man United, and he'll message me just a little dig. Unless we're in a football group chat like we are, of course we send digs at each other. That's normal. But me and him are not in no football group chat. We're just brother-in-laws, right? And he'll send me a little dig. I would never do that the other way around, if that makes sense. Because it's just like, I'll send you a dig if we're playing each other. Oh my God, he's not messaged me or spoken to me for like,
2 months.
God knows, you know what I mean? But that's what really irks me. Like, be consistent. Be here in the room when times are tough and good. But listen, Liverpool fans, they are what they are. But listen, I hate Arsenal fans. I'm sorry, guys. But to be honest, I do love talking to you guys. I love coming on Arsenal shows. That's
what I was saying. You're well, much as you hate us, you're still a friend of the fan base.
But just football at the end of the day. We're just
we put you in the Arsenal only fans group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sounded weird.
Yeah, did you see that? Did you see that? I got added to this. You're both in it, right?
Yeah.
I was like, what the bloody hell am I doing in this group? But I'm happy to be there. But it's like, what am I I doing in here? You know, it was just literally Arsenal. But anyway,
Yeah.
guys, I got to shoot off. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
we've
Yep,
been over
but-
2 hours and 10 minutes on this show, so we're gonna wrap up.
See you
now
guys
as well,
soon.
so.
Take care.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
thanks for
hopping on.
popping
Thank you.
on.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Bye.
see ya. Yeah, it was
Awesome.
good to have David. That was it. By the way,
Yeah.
David.
Yeah.
Subscribe to David Speaks Football. As you said, I've mentioned him so many times on this show. My favorite Man United
it's a
content
vibe.
creator, and you can see why. He is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a vibe.
He's such a vibe. Anyway, guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up. Before we go, right now, let's put our money on the table here, Cal. We talk about the big weekends. Let's talk preview. Our predictions. Arsenal, Sunderland, and then also, what do you think the result will be between Man City and Liverpool?
Okay, Arsenal, Sunderland. I think I have a feeling we concede for the first time.
No, don't do this. I want to break the
Yeah.
record, like at least
Yeah.
after the break. Oh.
I'm gonna go with my gut, and it's gonna be like a nervy as hell 2-1. I'm going for nervy 2-1. I was tempted to go 1-1, but I'll say nervy 2-1. I think the team has earned the right for me to give them the respect to win this game. Just one more before this international break, then you can have a little rest. Go on, do it. Go on, increase the gap. Man City versus Liverpool. I'm going Man City 3, Liverpool 1. That Liverpool defense is shit. Man City has like the best attack in the league. Like, you think Erling Haaland isn't going to blam up Konate? It's gonna happen.
The way he looking today against Dortmund was pretty scary.
It's fucking Dortmund. Let's be real here. Let's be. I mean, sorry. Liverpool won their game, right?
Yeah, against Real Madrid.
Well, Real Madrid didn't offer anything. That was such a terrible game, to be honest. But yeah, I don't see Liverpool does this where they would do half decent performance in the Champions League. People say they're back, they come back into the league and they don't do much. I don't think Arne Slot's figured it out yet, and I think, to be honest with you, I think Man City's probably going to be one of their worst play. They couldn't face Man City at a worst time, and it's probably one of their worst matchups because
Foden now scored 2 goals this time. Because
of what they can do to them offensively. So I think Liverpool have a likelihood that they're going to be embarrassed.
Well, that would be them.
Actually, I wouldn't go 3-1 because I don't believe. I wouldn't go 3-1 because I don't believe in Man City's defense that much. I'd go 3-2. 3-2 Man City.
Well, in your scenario, they're done. Liverpool, like, they would be 10 points behind us.
Yeah.
I don't see us. Sayonara. So the team that was supposed to be running away with the league couldn't make it past 11 games before they were basically out of the race. So
yeah,
think about it. Put that in perspective. I just had to shit on Liverpool for a second. I just had to. My prediction is my rule is I don't predict concessions of goals, and I think we will get the record. And I think it's going to be a scrappy 1-0. I actually have this really deep, dreaded feeling that it's going to be 0-0 to like the 80-somethingth minute, and we're going to get like a Gabriel corner or something. Something like a corner, a corner from Rice, Gabriel, just at the end. We're like, oh, thank God, because just like he did in the exact same city when we played Newcastle. So like he's got something. I
do think if it's a 1-0, it's going to be like a 1. We score in the first half and just don't concede for the rest of the game. But,
I know, but for some reason, I just feel like I don't know why, because Sunderland looks so damn open when they played against Everton. But I don't know why.
Against us. You know that?
Yeah, I don't know why I just feel that way. Okay, so I think it'll be, and I think it's mainly just because Gyökeres is out, and kind of what they were illustrating is I just don't know if Eze will have a great game just because he's playing off of Marino. Like Marino will come up. Maybe Marino is the one that gives you the one win, the one goal. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case either. But yeah, I just feel like it'll be a scrappy 1-0. That's the way I kind of feel like I'm in this one. And
expect this to be scintillating at all.
No, I don't expect. I think this is one of those we're just gonna have to put everything we got in.
Yeah, just
one more until the break. Let's just get it over the line. That's kind of the way I kind of feel about this game.
Yeah.
If they surprise us, I'm happy to take a surprise where all of a sudden we click. Then not
Yeah.
to take all the backlash, but hey, look, see, I told you guys that you didn't need Gyökeres. But anyway.
Yeah, just do the thing. Just do the thing.
And in terms of the other game, I see Man City 2, Liverpool 2.
Oh, you think it's a draw?
Yeah,
think-
I just think the way I saw them both play this week, I think they're both kind of hitting confidence. I think they're just going to cancel each other out.
I don't think we're that lucky.
I think it's either 2-2 or 1-1, but I think it's a draw. I do think it's a draw. I just feel like, I don't know, that's just my gut feeling. So in that scenario, again, it's 8-9, and we're looking pretty. And then of course the scum come after the break, and we should be all healthy by then. But anyway, guys, just a bit of business before we close up shop. I should mention this, of course. Hit the QR codes. You can scan on the QR code under me to subscribe to HotSport, and then scan under Cal for CalGunner TV onto that QR code. Cal is now back from Japan, so I imagine that all of a sudden the content will start flowing. So watch out for that. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe for Kens to Fire Them Cannons. And again, we'll see you guys later. Come on, you Gunners. Let's just do this. One more win, and then we'll hit the break.